Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to all of you as we bid farewell to an eye-opening and enlightening first year of Samarth by Hyundai in partnership with NDTV.
आप सबका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है। हमें याद है कि एक साल पहले हंडे की पहल समर्थ की शुरुआत इस मकसद के साथ हुई थी कि हम एक ऐसी शुरुआत करें जो दिव्यांगजनों के लिए अधिक समावेशी, सुलभ और जागरूक समाज का निर्माण कर सके। हमारा लक्ष्य था कि हम समाज में मानसिकता के स्तर पर बदलाव लाएं और दिव्यांगजनों के अधिकारों के लिए बराबरी की सिफारिश करें।
Along the way, we interacted with some amazing people with disabilities, entrepreneurs, civil servants, sports people, educators, rights advocates, travelers, corporate employees, some of whom are with us today, and we welcome them. And we learned from them a great deal. That the people we met are not just heroes, they are ordinary, everyday people living ordinary, everyday lives with their disabilities. That matters of accessibility are not limited just to people with disabilities. Disability actually touches us all at different times in one way or the other. It could be an accident, an injury, an illness, a disease, old age, even just poor eyesight. So many of us are wearing glasses today and can't see without them. That makes glasses an assistive device. So do think about that as well.
Absolutely. जरा सोचिए इस बारे में। आज जब हम सब इकट्ठा हुए हैं तो ये सोचने का वक्त है। ये सोचने का वक्त है कि बीते एक साल से हमने सीखा क्या। ये कि अभी बहुत कुछ करना बाकी है। ये तो बस एक शुरुआत है। हम जब अपने आसपास अपने परिवेश का ढांचा खड़ा करते हैं, उसे डिज़ाइन करते हैं, तो दिव्यांगता को बिल्कुल ध्यान में नहीं रखते। ना हमारे क्लासरूम्स में, ना अस्पतालों में, ना ही दफ्तरों और कामकाज की दूसरी जगहों पर भी इसका ध्यान ही नहीं रखा जाता है। तो ये सफ़र बहुत लंबा है और हंडे की पहल समर्थ ने इसकी एक शुरुआत की है। ये बस एक पहला कदम है, लेकिन कम से कम संवाद की शुरुआत तो हुई है।
This is a daily reality for 26.8 million people living with disabilities in India. People are born with or develop disabilities, but they are disabled by society, by perceptions and stereotypes, by inaccessible infrastructure and public spaces, and by a lack of education and employment opportunities. This is a violation of their human rights. Hyundai Motor India Limited launched the Samarth by Hyundai initiative in response to this. It is a movement to change mindsets and spark societal change. An initiative to create a more inclusive and accessible world for all. This platform was created in partnership with NDTV to understand where the challenges lie and what can we do to tackle them. What can we do as governments, as corporates, as citizens, and as human beings.
With Samarth initiative, our vision is to create a society which is barrier-free, which is inclusive, and where differently abled are not disabled by the society due to lack of facilities. This, in our view, is truly mobility for all.
Through partnership with Go Sports Foundation, Samarthanam Trust for the Disabled, and support of Wheeling Happiness, Hyundai is supporting para sports and blind cricket in India, promoting inclusivity and fostering innovation in disability sports. The Samarth Assistive Devices Conclave was organized to initiate conversations on how assistive technologies can help make the lives of people with disabilities easier. Hyundai Motor India Foundation partnered with Samarthanam Trust for the Disabled to support blind cricket in India for 3 years. That led to the organization of the first Samarth Blind Cricket Championship between India and Sri Lanka, which India won 5-0. Hyundai's own commitment to inclusivity, diversity and accessibility reflects in multiple ways. Hyundai Mobis launched 4 assistive accessories for passengers with mobility challenges. It has made its entire ecosystem of offices and dealerships accessible. And this show at the Hyundai headquarters was an important step towards the acknowledgement of diversity and creation of empathy that the initiative stands for. This year's edition of Art for Hope, run by the Hyundai Motor India Foundation as part of the Ability for Dignity program, brought out different perspectives through the artworks of artists with disabilities. Samarth by Hyundai also engaged with over 50,000 school students to sensitize our youngest citizens and create greater support and empathy from a young age. And with corporates across 6 cities in India on what an inclusive workplace could look like. Both school students and corporates alike lined up in huge numbers to send their best wishes for India's para-athletes hopeful of competing at the Paris Paralympics. And their good wishes worked, with 7 of the para-athletes supported by Samarth by Hyundai making it to the Indian squad for Paris, and 2 returning with medals. The first ever Samarth survey resulted in a charter of recommendations that is being presented to union ministers and state chief ministers for them to act upon. The awareness is growing. Samarth by Hyundai is rapidly becoming a people's movement. Close to 5 lakh citizens have already taken the pledge for inclusivity. A year after it launched, Samarth by Hyundai is now identified with the movement it set out to create. A movement for equal rights, for equal access, and for equal opportunity for those with disabilities. The foundation has been laid. It's now time to start building.
Isn't that incredibly inspiring? We'd now like to invite on stage Mr. Ansu Kim, Managing Director, Hyundai Motor India Limited. Sir.
Thank you, Vishnu. Namaste. A very good morning to our distinguished guests, officials from the government, and the coaches and athletes, and the dear friends from media, ladies and gentlemen, and my dear colleagues. I would like to take a moment to welcome the Honorable Minister, Sri Mansukh Mandaviya, the Minister of Labor Employment, and the Minister of Youth Affairs and Support. Thank you for your continued trust and unwavering support. It is indeed a great privilege to welcome you all today to this crucial milestone in our journey of making the world a more accessible and inclusive place. Guided by Hyundai Motor Company's global vision of progress for humanity, we are committed to India not only through our products and services, but also by sowing the seeds of good in Bharat. Through initiatives undertaken by our philanthropic arm, the Hyundai Motor India Foundation, we have been actively working toward the nation building by enabling holistic growth in society. We strive to be a responsible corporate citizen. Change is not what just happened. It is what a group of strong-willed people come together to create. With this thought and Hyundai's far-sighted vision, we embarked on a purpose-driven journey in November 2023 with the Samarth by Hyundai initiatives. A journey to create an accessible world and a barrier-free society for people with disabilities, or rather special abilities. With the Samarth initiatives, we aim to spread awareness about the various disabilities and bring all the stakeholders together on one single platform through our partnership with NDTV and other key media houses. Throughout the year, we created awareness and brought our stories, especially abled individuals who inspired many people. Friends, Hyundai Motor India Limited and the Hyundai Motor India Foundation also partnered with organizations such as Go Sports Foundation and the Samarthanam Trust for Disabled to support the para sports and the blind cricket in India, along with providing assistive devices to those in need. We also internalize our efforts to creating accessibility for all by making majority of HMIL offices and dealership more accessible for people with disabilities. The journey till now has been one of the new learnings, finding inspiration, and creating momentous change. By creating shared value through the Samarth initiatives, we are committed to building the inclusive society, one where disabilities don't hinder aspiration of a better tomorrow, and where opportunities are equal for all. Let's together take this journey ahead and pledge to make India Samarth. Thank you, Dhanyavad.
So much. Thank you so much, Mr. Ansu Kim. थैंक यू। और हंडे की पहल समर्थ का मकसद सिर्फ और सिर्फ बदलाव लाना है। हम नहीं चाहते कि ये सिर्फ एक ऐसी बातचीत हो जो आज ही ख़त्म हो जाए। हमें इसे एक ऐसी पहल में बदलने की ज़रूरत है जो एक्सेसिबिलिटी और इंक्लूसिविटी की राह में आने वाली सभी बाधाओं, चाहे वो शारीरिक हों या फिर किसी भी तरह की हों, उन्हें पहचान कर उन्हें दूर करने के लिए काम करे।
To find out those barriers and think about how they can be removed, Samarth Bahande conducted a survey to assess how accessible public places are. This wasn't small. It was a survey conducted in 20 cities across 6 states. A panel of disability rights advocates then went through the findings to frame a charter of recommendations. In a sense, today is all about that charter. It is this charter that is being presented for the first time today to the Honorable Minister.
बिल्कुल। और चार्टर देने के लिए अब मैं स्टेज पर एक बार फिर से आमंत्रित करना चाहूँगी मिस्टर अंशु किम, मिस्टर तरुण गर्ग और मिस्टर जेटी पार्क, हंडे मोटर इंडिया लिमिटेड से। प्लीज कम अप ऑन स्टेज। और मिस्टर संजय पुगालिया, सीईओ और एडिटर इन चीफ, एएमजी मीडिया नेटवर्क। प्लीज कम अप ऑन स्टेज। And to receive the Charter of Recommendations, I would like to invite on stage the Honourable Minister, Union Minister for Youth Affairs and Sports, Shri Mansukh Mandavia. थैंक यू सो मच। बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया आप सभी का। थैंक यू। आपसे रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी कि आप सब अपने अपनी सीट्स पे जाएं। मनसुख जी, मैं आपसे रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी कि आप प्लीज़ स्टेज पे रहें और अपने विचार हमारे साथ साझा करें, प्लीज़।
आज के समर्थ कार्यक्रम में उपस्थित संजय जी, अंशु किम, तरुण गर्ग जी, सभी उपस्थित भाई और बहनों, सबसे पहले तो मैं एनडीटीवी और हुंडई को अभिनंदन देना चाहूँगा। आज का कार्यक्रम बहुत सामर्थ्य वाला कार्यक्रम है। शायद संख्यात्मक दृष्टि से ये छोटा हो सकता है, लेकिन प्रेरणात्मक दृष्टि से ये कार्यक्रम में बहुत बड़ी ताकत है। मेरे लेफ्ट साइड में मेरे दिव्यांगजन बैठे हैं। उसका सामर्थ्य की गाथा लिखने में मदद करने वाले हुंडई और एनडीटीवी इसलिए अभिनंदन के अधिकारी हैं। जहां से कुछ मिलता है उसको तो सब कुछ पूछता है। लेकिन किसी को सहयोग करके समर्थ करने के लिए तो मन से जिसमें सामर्थ्य होता है वही आगे आते हैं। और सामने में पढ़ रहा हूं, समर्थ है हर दिल जीत लेंगे। सभी व्यक्ति में अपार शक्ति छुपी हुई होती है और मुझे एहसास हुआ, मैंने अनुभव करा एक पेरिस ओलंपिक्स के दरमियान जब जा रहे थे, तब मैंने उसका हौसला देखा था, उसका उत्साह देखा था और कहते थे कि साहब हम देश का नाम बड़ा करके आएंगे, देश का गौरव बढ़ा के आएंगे। जब वो वापस आया तो जो हमारा रियो ओलंपिक्स में 6 मेडल था, 6 में से 16 हुआ टोक्यो में और पेरिस में 29 मेडल के साथ हिंदुस्तान का गौरव बढ़ाया। देश का गौरव बढ़ाने के लिए मेरे पैरा एथलीट्स भी इतना ही मायना रखता है जितना और कोई रखता हो, तो छोटी बात नहीं है। और इसलिए प्रधानमंत्री जी ने हमको निर्देश दिया था कि हमारे एथलीट और पैरा एथलीट्स दोनों को एक समान सम्मान मिलना चाहिए और समाज में हम असमानता नहीं रख सकते हैं। हमें होलिस्टिक अप्रोच के साथ, ये देश बहुत बड़ा देश है, इंडिया इज ए बिग कंट्री, ह्यूज डाइवर्सिटी, 1.4 बिलियन पॉपुलेशन, बड़ा देश है, बहुत विविधता है। ये विविधता में रही हुई शक्ति का हमें उपयोग करना है, उसको अपॉर्चुनिटी देनी है। इसलिए जो सुविधा अन्य एथलीट को मिलती है, अन्य लोगों को मिलती है, नॉट ओनली फॉर स्पोर्ट्स बट ऑल टाइप ऑफ सेक्टर, हमारे दिव्यांग जनों को भी मिले, उसके लिए हर संभव प्रयास करा जाता है। उसको एडिशनल विशेष सुविधा के साथ हमें मदद करने की हमारी नॉट ओनली फॉर गवर्नमेंट बट सोसाइटी, ऑल सोसाइटी हमारी जिम्मेवारी है, ये हमारा दायित्व है। ये आज के कार्यक्रम से किया हुआ प्रोत्साहन मेरे दिव्यांग जनों को बहुत शक्ति देगा, उसको प्रोत्साहित करेगा, उसमें रही हुई शक्ति को बाहर लाने के लिए उसको प्रेरणा मिलेगी। इस हिसाब से, इस दृष्टि से मेरे मन में इस कार्यक्रम का बहुत महत्व है। हम सब लोग अपना दायित्व अदा करते हुए हमारे दिव्यांग जनों का ख्याल रखें, उसको प्रोत्साहित करें, उसका हौसला बढ़ाएं, उसको हर संभव लगना चाहिए। सोसाइटी विथ अस, सोसाइटी हमारे साथ है, यही संकल्प को आप लोगों ने आगे दोहराया है। आप सबको मेरी ओर से हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं। धन्यवाद।
बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया आपका मनसुख मंडाविया जी, बहुत धन्यवाद आपके इस तमाम प्रोत्साहन के लिए। हमें उम्मीद है कि इससे बहुत प्रोत्साहित होंगे वो तमाम लोग जो यहाँ पर आज मौजूद हैं। और अब समय है कि हम उन तमाम लोगों को सम्मानित भी करें जो यहाँ पर मौजूद हैं और जिनके लिए ये प्रोत्साहन बहुत बहुत ज़रूरी है। तो इनके नाम बहुत सारी उपलब्धियाँ हैं, इन्होंने बहुत सारे नेशनल, कॉन्टिनेंटल और ग्लोबल स्तर पर विष्णु बहुत सारे सम्मान जीते हैं और गौरवान्वित किया है हमारे देश को। इस साल हंडे की पहल समर्थ ने 26 प्रतिभाशाली पैरा एथलीट्स को समर्थन दिया, अपना सहयोग दिया और इनमें से 7 खिलाड़ी हाल ही में हुए पेरिस ओलंपिक में जो भारतीय दल गया था वो उसका हिस्सा थे और उन्होंने देश का नाम कितना रोशन किया ये हम सबने देखा। तो आज हम उनके शानदार प्रदर्शन की सराहना कर रहे हैं और उन्हें सम्मानित कर रहे हैं और इसके लिए हम एक बार फिर से स्टेज पर आमंत्रित करना चाहेंगे. आई वुड लाइक टू इनवाइट बैक अप ऑन स्टेज मिस्टर अंशु किम, मिस्टर तरुण गर्ग and Mr. J.T. Park from Hyundai Motor India Limited.
We're also delighted to invite the Honourable Minister one more time, Mr. Mandavia, if you can just join us as we get this entire program all started. Sir, please.
हमारे पहले पैरा एथलीट एक डिस्कस थ्रोअर हैं. ये 2022 पैरा एशियाई खेलों में रजत पदक विजेता हैं. विश्व चैंपियनशिप में ये 2 बार सिल्वर मेडल जीत चुके हैं और पैरालंपिक्स में ये 2 बार सिल्वर मेडल अपने नाम कर चुके हैं. और इनमें से एक सिल्वर मेडल इन्होंने इसी साल पेरिस में जीता है. इनका नाम है योगेश कठुनिया.
A big round of applause, everyone. Come. मनसुख भाई.
योगेश जी, आप आग्रह करूंगी कि आप यहाँ पर स्टेज पे हों. और एक सवाल है आपके लिए कि आपने इतनी अच्छी अभी उपलब्धि आपकी रही है और आपने कामयाबी हासिल की है. आपको लगता है कि पैरालंपिक्स की जो सूरत है भारत में वो बहुत बदली है, जिसकी वजह से इतना अच्छा प्रदर्शन रहा इस बार?
काफ़ी ज़्यादा जैसे मतलब सपोर्ट बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ा है. जो पहले नहीं देखा जाता था, चाहे आप पहले के सालों में देखो तो. और मीडिया भी जैसे NDTV है, तो अब वो मैं देख रहा हूँ 1 साल से तो रेगुलर सेलिब्रेट कर रही है पैरालंपिक्स को. ऐसी क्योंकि मीडिया और लोगों का बहुत ज़्यादा सपोर्ट चाहिए. जब तक उनकी तरफ हम मतलब पहुँचेगी नहीं चीज़ें और सारी चीज़ों के बारे में पता नहीं चलेगा, तब तक और ज़्यादा इंक्लूसिविटी नहीं बढ़ेगी इंडिया में. तो जब मैं जुड़ा था प्रोग्राम से, तो एक विज़न था जो बहुत ज़्यादा अच्छा था. और ऐसी अगर काफ़ी सारे कॉर्पोरेट्स और भी आएंगे और भी अच्छा विज़न बन सकता है इंडिया का. थैंक यू.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Come.
Our next athlete is a para archer. Need I say any more? Well, she has created a record of, or a first of some kind in practically every international event that she has participated in. From the World Archery Para Championships to the Asian Para Games and now the Paris Paralympics, where her bronze medal makes her India's youngest Paralympic medalist and the only second armless archer in the history to win a Paralympic medal. We are talking about Sheetal Devi. And receiving the award on her behalf is Mr. Satyanarayan, Chief Coach, Paralympic Committee of India.
थैंक यू सो मच. थैंक यू. और शीतल जी हमारे साथ जुड़ रही हैं जूम के माध्यम से. मैं आपसे एक सवाल करना चाहूँगी. शीतल, आप हमें सुन सकती हैं? आपने बहुत सारे रिकॉर्ड्स तोड़े हैं, तो अब आपको क्या लग रहा है, अगला लक्ष्य क्या है?
नमस्ते मैम, जय माता दी. अगला लक्ष्य यही है कि बस मैं यहाँ तक तो अच्छा करके आई हूँ कि यहाँ से आगे भी वैसे ही अच्छा करूँ जैसे आज तक मैंने किया है.
जी जी, थैंक यू सो मच. बहुत शुक्रिया आपका हमारे साथ जुड़ने के लिए.
इनफैक्ट हर सफल महिला के पीछे एक और महिला होती है. हमें आज ना सिर्फ शीतल को बल्कि उनकी कोच अभिलाषा चौधरी को भी सम्मानित करते हुए बहुत खुशी महसूस हो रही है.
जी, हमारे साथ अभिलाषा जी भी जुड़ी हुई हैं. आपको क्या लगता है ये जो इतनी शानदार कामयाबी इनकी रही है, इसके पीछे किस तरह की मेहनत रही है?
नमस्ते। सबसे पहले तो मैं धन्यवाद करती हूँ कि आज ये जो समर्थ के इवेंट किया जा रहा है, और समर्थ जो एक ऐसी पहल हुई है जिससे बहुत से खिलाड़ियों को एक सपोर्ट मिल रहा है। और शीतल को जब इस प्रोग्राम से जोड़ा गया था तो इसके नाम में ही वो चीज़ थी कि समर्थ। सो कहीं ना कहीं ये बहुत बड़ा इनिशिएटिव है और इसका बहुत ज़्यादा इफेक्ट प्लेयर्स पे दिखाई देगा।
Our next para athlete also has many firsts to her name. She became the first para canoe sprint athlete to represent India at the Paralympic Games when she competed at the 2020 Games in Tokyo. She became the first Indian to win a gold in canoeing at the Asian Para Games in 2022. She was also a part of the Indian contingent in Paris. Please welcome Prachi Yadav.
Please, a big round of applause. आप हमारे जब पहले शो में आई थी, जब लॉन्च शो में आई थी हंडे की, तो हमें याद है इन्होंने कहा था कि किसी को विश्वास नहीं था, आपके परिवार हो या आपके आसपास के लोग, कि आप कुछ भी कर पाएंगी। और जब आप इतना कुछ आज अचीव कर पाई हैं, तो किस तरह से उनका एटीट्यूड, उनका नज़रिया बदला है?
मैम, जब मैंने स्टडी स्टार्ट करने का सोचा था तो मैं एक नॉर्मल स्कूल में गई थी कि मुझे एडमिशन मिले, बट उन्होंने मुझे लेने से ही मना कर दिया। तो उन्होंने बोला था कि आपका जो स्थिति है आप कैसे करोगे। तो एक अमर ज्योति करके चैरिटेबल ट्रस्ट स्कूल है ग्वालियर में, उन लोगों ने मुझे एडमिशन दिया था और वहाँ से वो मुझे एक्वा थेरेपी कराते थे, तो तैराकी सिखाते थे। वहाँ से मेरा स्पोर्ट्स का जर्नी स्टार्ट हुआ था। तो रिश्तेदारों को लगता था कि ये कुछ नहीं कर सकती है, लेकिन मेरे फादर को मेरे पे विश्वास था कि मैं अगर अपनी बेटी को सपोर्ट करूँगा तो वो कुछ भी कर सकती है। तो जब मैंने स्पोर्ट स्टार्ट किया और मैं बाहर निकली शहर से, तो मैंने सोचा कि मेरे को ऐसा करना है कि लोग मुझे जाने, और मेरी मेहनत में कभी कमी नहीं रही। चाहे आप लास्ट पैरालंपिक जो पेरिस में हुआ था, आपको बताना चाहूँगी मुझे एक सीरियस इंजरी हो रखी है। 5 महीने से मेरा लेफ़्ट आई बिल्कुल ख़राब हो चुका है, मुझे दिख नहीं रहा था, बट मुझे ये था कि मुझे पार्टिसिपेट करना है और अपने देश को रिप्रेजेंट करना है। तो मैंने बैंडेज लगाकर पूरा रेस कंप्लीट किया और मैं फाइनल ए में घुसी। तो मेरे लिए ये भी बहुत बड़ा अचीवमेंट है। हो सकता है इस बार मेरा किस्मत ख़राब है, मेरा मेडल चूक गया, बट अगले LA 2028 में मैं पूरा कोशिश करूँगी कि अपने देश के लिए गोल्ड मेडल लेकर आऊँ।
क्या बात है, थैंक यू सो मच, थैंक यू सो मच, बहुत मुबारक हो आपको और ऑल द बेस्ट आगे के लिए भी। थैंक यू।
हमारी अगली पैरा एथलीट भी एक डिस्कस थ्रोअर हैं। पिछले साल उन्होंने राष्ट्रीय चैंपियनशिप में 1 नहीं 2 नहीं बल्कि 3 इवेंट्स डिस्कस, शॉटपुट और जैवलिन में नेशनल रिकॉर्ड बनाया है। ये एशियन पैरा गेम्स की ब्रॉन्ज मेडलिस्ट हैं और पेरिस में भारतीय दल का हिस्सा भी रही हैं। जोरदार तालियों से स्वागत करें साक्षी कसाना का।
Congratulations, Sakshi. Come, please. Come right to the front. Congratulations, Sakshi. I had a quick question for you. Paris would have been a pretty overwhelming experience at one stage. What was your big learning experience?
पेरिस में लाइक जाके मेरे को बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिला। मेरा ये फर्स्ट पैरालंपिक्स था, तो यहाँ पे मेरी परफॉर्मेंस इतनी अच्छी नहीं रही, मैं अपना पर्सनल बेस्ट नहीं दे पाई यहाँ पर। तो मैंने अपने सीनियर से बहुत कुछ सीखा। लाइक देवेंद्र जजारिया सर मेरे को मिले एक दिन, उन्होंने बैठ के मुझे समझाया कि ये तो पहला है और इसके आगे और भी अच्छे से मेहनत करनी है और भी अच्छा कर सकती है। तो मतलब मुझे उनकी सारी स्टोरीज़ इतनी इंस्पायरिंग है सब लोगों की। जैसे मेरा एक फ्रेंड है योगेश कथुनिया और दीपा मलिक मैम, ये सब लोग इतना इंस्पायर करते हैं। इनकी खुद एक स्टोरी इतनी अच्छी है कि मतलब इससे अच्छा कोई और मोटिवेशन हो ही नहीं सकता.
And you motivate all of us. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Just 2 years ago, she feared she would never play again because of a bone tumor. But a year after her diagnosis, she was winning a bronze medal at the World Para Badminton Championships. She was the youngest qualifier in para badminton at the Tokyo Paralympics, and she has just come back from Paris. She is Palak Kohli.
Please be on stage. Please be on stage.
We have a
आपसे बस
question
एक
for you.
सवाल है. जब आपका ये डायग्नोज हुआ था ट्यूमर, तो बहुत सारे लोगों ने ये कहा था कि आपका करियर खत्म हो गया है. आपको कभी ये संशय था? और किस तरह से ये वापसी जो है वो कितनी मुश्किल थी?
Like talking about my comeback, I think in general also when we human beings go through some diseases or some up and downs, we are very afraid. And a disease like bone tumor, it's like, and when I got to diagnosed by that, and I was very afraid, and I didn't knew what life had next for me. So it was very challenging to think of playing a sport at that level, and badminton being a game which requires a lot of strength, agility, endurance, and everything. So I was very worried and I was afraid. But since Tokyo, when I finished 4th in the Tokyo Paralympic Games, I always had my eye up to Paris. So that was something that I didn't wanted to give up on. And with God's grace and blessing, I overcame the surgery, and then I recovered. And I had little complication in my leg of post that, and little health issues which come on and off. But I think it's me of never giving up, and I think it's a lot of support that I've got from my family in those hard times. My coaches, Gaurav sir, and the entire academy in Lucknow. And after 1.5 years from my surgery, I came back to my very first tournament in Brazil, which was a Paralympic qualification events, where I met all the top ranking athletes in the world. And I beat the world number 3 in the very first tournament of my comeback. And I was there back on the podium. And
We have no doubt you'll win gold next time as well. So we look forward to that.
yes, definitely. I think God's grace, and I finished 5th this year in the Paralympics, but definitely I'm looking forward for LA 28 and other major tournaments coming up.
All the best to you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank
And what
you
an
so
amazing,
much.
inspirational
Thank you.
story.
Please.
Thank you so much.
अपनी पहली ही राष्ट्रीय प्रतियोगिता में उन्होंने सिल्वर और दूसरी में गोल्ड मेडल जीता है. खास बात यह है कि उन्होंने सिर्फ 3 साल पहले ही पैरा स्पोर्ट्स में कदम रखा है. मिलिए दीपेश कुमार से, जो पैरालंपियन हैं और एक नेशनल चैंपियन हैं.
आपने बहुत हाल में ही शुरुआत की है पैरा स्पोर्ट्स की, 3 साल पहले के करीब में, और बहुत ही आपने शानदार कामयाबी हासिल की. बहुत अविश्वसनीय है कि इतने कम समय में. और आप सुनते हैं कि आप पैरालिफ्टिंग में भी जाना चाहते थे, फिर आप जैवलिन की तरफ आपने रुख कर लिया. कैसे, किसने प्रेरित किया आपको?
मैंने जब सोचा था कि मैं गेम में जाना चाहता हूँ, तो पहले मैंने सोचा था कि मैं पावर लिफ्टिंग करूँगा. तो मेरे फादर बोलते थे कि नहीं, ये मत कर, तू दूसरा गेम कर, क्योंकि बिकॉज फ्रॉम सिंस स्टार्टिंग आई वॉज डूइंग जिम, सो मेरी बॉडी काफ़ी अच्छी थी. तो सब मेरे पेरेंट्स ने ही, स्पेशली माई मदर, ही इज़ माई बैकबोन. आई थिंक उन्होंने ही मेरे को स्टार्टिंग से जेवलिन उन्होंने ही सिखाया, उन्होंने ही कराया. जब मैं साई में आया, फिर वहाँ पे मेरे को वर्ल्ड क्लास फैसिलिटीज़ मिली. फिर उसके बाद मेरे को समर्थ भाई उंडी ने स्पॉन्सर किया दिस ईयर. इसी से ही मेरी जर्नी यहाँ से स्टार्ट होती है. और थैंक यू.
Thank you so much. Many congratulations to you. Thank you.
Our next para athlete has participated in the World Para Kayaking Championship and won multiple medals at the Asian Para Kayaking Championship. He is also a three-time gold medalist at the national level, and he's just come back from the Paralympics in Paris. Please welcome Yash Kumar.
Yash, I had a question for you. Upper body strength is something that's so important for kayaking.
Yes.
How many hours a day do you actually work out and practice? Give us an idea of your routine.
जैसा कि गेम है डिफ़िकल्ट वाटर स्पोर्ट्स है तो प्रैक्टिस तो खैर हमें काफ़ी ज़्यादा ही करनी पड़ती है बट मेरा 7 आवर सुबह के 3 घंटे और शाम के 3-4 घंटे हमारे नॉर्मल है कि हमें देने ही पड़ते हैं तो
आप कभी
काफ़ी
रेस्ट लेते हैं?
Yes, sir.
आप कभी रेस्ट लेते हैं या हफ्ते में 7 दिन ही एक्सरसाइज करते
नहीं
वर्कआउट
बीच
करते हैं?
संडे जैसे ऑफ रहता है तो संडे हम रेस्ट लेकिन हाँ संडे में भी हम कुछ ना कुछ करते ही रहते हैं एक्टिविटीज़ क्योंकि अगर बॉडी को रेस्ट देंगे तो फिर उस मूवमेंट में लाने में फिर थोड़ा समय लग जाएगा तो हम लोग थोड़ा करते ही रहते हैं कुछ ना कुछ और टाइम पीरियड भी जैसे कि पहला पैरा ओलंपिक था जिसमें मेरे फादर एक्सपायर हो गए तो परफॉर्मेंस में काफ़ी अच्छा नहीं कर पाया बट मैंने टारगेट लिया हुआ 2028 में अपने देश को मेडल दिला के ही रहूँगा और
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Come.
much. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you all very much. And if I can just ask you to take your seats. Mandavya ji, do stay with us. We've got a little bit more with you, but it's all fascinating. Nagma?
Yeah. The Hyundai Motor India Foundation is the CSR arm of Hyundai Motor India Limited, partnered with Samarthanam Trust for the Disabled and the Cricket Association for the Blind in India to support blind county in the country, and with Go Sports Foundation to support para sports. So we would now like to call up Deepti Papaya, CEO, Go Sports Foundation, and Shailendra Yadav, General Secretary, Cricket Association for the Blind in India.
We'd also like to invite Deepa Malik, the first Indian woman to win a Paralympic medal for India. Her foundation, Wheeling Happiness, also worked with Samarth by Hyundai in their endeavor to support India's para-athletes.
Deepa ma'am.
Deepa, can you come up onto the stage? Welcome back. I had a question for Deepti. You know, getting the number of Paralympians that we've had this time around, the medals that they've won has been absolutely incredible. And we've seen the strength of our performance improve from games to games, from the Olympics to the Olympics. Realistically speaking, what are our targets for next time?
Congratulations to Hyundai. I remember it's 1 year since this whole thing
since we
started, so it's a lovely, warm feeling that to see the amount of work. So congratulations to the entire team. I think the Paralympic journey has grown from strength to strength. I had the good fortune of being at Rio with Deepa, as part of the program and seeing the first woman, break that record, break those barriers. And from the way we have grown through medals and through thought and through the narrative, I don't think today people are saying para-athletes cannot win medals. I think that has changed, the belief has changed, and also stakeholders. I mean, there is the Target Olympic Podium Scheme, the ministry has come forward, SAI has come forward. So all key stakeholders are working together, and companies like Hyundai have said that we are looking at inclusion because it's the right thing to do.
Sure.
And it is not that we'll also support from a sympathy angle. So I think that has been a very, very big change, and such platforms need to be doubled and grown year
No,
on
we'll
year.
keep
So
talking.
congratulations.
You can count on that. Shailinda, I had a question
That's okay,
for
I'll
you.
hold the mic for you. Thank you.
Blind cricket has really taken on, I mean, it's caught the fancy of so many people across the country. Tell us what more can be done to promote blind cricket in India, number one. And number two, the Samarth experience for you in blind cricket, how did that work?
Thank you, first of all, to inviting to us, and I would like to also congratulate to all the para athletes to win the 29 golds. And I know how much hard work and the Honorable Prime Minister and the Honorable Sports Minister, sir, and Samarth Hyundai has put lot of efforts to bring this 29. It started in 1990, blind cricket in India, and we continuously defeated by the all the dominating cricket countries. Honorable Prime Minister, sir, Sri Narendra Modi ji, when we won the 4th ODI, first time India won the World Cup in 2014 in Cape Town. And when we reach India, Honorable Prime Minister, sir, has invited entire team at his house and spent more than 1 hour with my entire team. That was a day when in blind cricket, history written by the Honorable Prime Minister and my cricketers, when Hyundai come forward. So it's not only they decide to do just a formality or that the 2% of the CSR and just okay take it the money and go. They come to promote us, they come to awareness for the society. Till the society will not know us, जब तक वो हमें नहीं जानेगी, नहीं पहचानेगी, हमारी क्षमताओं को कभी भी नहीं पहचाना जाएगा. जो एनडीटीवी ने और जो समर्थ ने जो दोनों ने साथ आके ब्लाइंड क्रिकेट के साथ जो चमत्कार किया है, आज हमारे सोशल मीडिया पे आप फॉलोअर्स देखोगे, वो एक अपने आप इम्पैक्ट है.
दीपा जी, आपको बहुत फक्र होगा, गर्व होगा कि इतने सारे एथलीट्स, आपके एथलीट्स इतना अच्छा कर रहे हैं. एक एलीट लेवल पे जो एथलीट्स खेलते हैं, प्रदर्शन करते हैं, जाते हैं, उनको किस तरह के सपोर्ट की ज़रूरत होती है और समर्थ बाय हंडे जैसी जो ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस जो काम कर रही हैं, जो पहल है, वो कहाँ पे मदद कर सकती है?
देखिए, ये अपने आप में एक सबूत है. दिस इज़ अ प्रूफ that from 1968 to 2016, the total number of medals were 12. But from 2016 onwards, now if I take the 2 Paralympics alone, 2020 Tokyo and 2024 Paris, we have won 48 medals. That's the growth, and the growth is itself a testimony, अपने आप में सबूत है कि elite level पे to craft and nurture the talent and to take them from being a participation level athlete to a medal winning athlete, we need inclusive policies. Absolutely. We need support of various funding programs. We need nutrition, science, mental well-being introduced, sports sciences being used, and very international and professional level of prosthetics to be used, the correct assistive aids and equipment to be used for them to practice. Samarth has given us also that wind beneath our wings to add these facilities for, these personalized, customized requirements for the athletes.
थैंक यू सो मच. और मैं आप सभी से रिक्वेस्ट करना चाहूँगी कि अपनी अपनी सीट्स ग्रहण करें. और मंडावा जी, आखिरी फेलिसिटेशन है, आपको स्टेज पे रोकना चाहूँगी और आप सब लोग प्लीज़ अपनी सीट्स लें. मैं मंच पर एक बार फिर से आमंत्रित करना चाहूँगी हांडे मोटर इंडिया लिमिटेड से मिस्टर अंशु किम, मिस्टर तरुण गर्ग और मिस्टर जेटी पार्क.
This is to give a special memento to the Honorable Minister who's taken his time to come over here. And it means the world to us, sir, that you're here for this occasion.
Thank you, everyone. I would now like to invite Mr. J.T. Park, Executive Director, Sales and Marketing, Hyundai Motor India Limited, to address our gathered Paralympians.
Namaste. On behalf of Hyundai Motor India Limited, I would like to congratulate all the Paralympians for a wonderful feat you have achieved. especially Shital and Yogesh. Your performance have made a bullseye in everyone's heart. You are all truly are Samarth champions. Sports is not just a game. It is a medium that inspires, a medium that brings people together, a medium that empowers, and a medium that has the power to drive changes. And this is what Hyundai Motor India Limited aims to do, to drive a positive change in the society, to make a world barrier-free and inclusive for people with disabilities. We believe India has thousands of sporting prodigies waiting to be discovered. And we are resolved to nurture talent and bring out inspirational stories of many more such champions through Samarth by Hyundai initiative. We will continue to support people with disability in sports, be it parasports and blind cricket. We hope we all come together to support our champions in bringing more laurels for India. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. J.T. Park. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the season-ending show of Samarth by Hyundai. We have come to the end of the first session, but there is a lot more coming after a very, very short break, so don't go anywhere.
नमस्कार, आप सभी का एक बार फिर स्वागत है। आज सुबह हमने आपको समर्थ सर्वे के माध्यम से तैयार किए गए चार्टर ऑफ रिकमेंडेशंस यानी सुझावों के चार्टर की जानकारी दी। ये सर्वे इस साल 20 शहरों में कराया गया था। इस सर्वे का मकसद सिर्फ एक ही था कि हमें ये जानकारी मिल सके कि हमारे पब्लिक प्लेसेस जैसे कि हमारे अस्पताल, स्कूल, कॉलेज, मॉल्स, पार्क्स, सिनेमा हॉल्स आदि में हमारे दिव्यांगजनों के लिए कितने सुलभ व्यवस्था है, यानी वो कितने एक्सेसिबल हैं। हम आपको ये भी बता दें कि इस पहल ने एक और ज़रूरी दस्तावेज़ भी तैयार किया है, स्टेट ऑफ डिसेबिलिटी यानी भारत में दिव्यांगजनों पर एक श्वेत पत्र। इस पर वाइट पेपर में समर्थ इनिशिएटिव के पिछले 1 साल के अनुभव और साथ ही उस अनुभव से जो कुछ हमने ज़मीन पर सीखा हमारे सर्वे के नतीजों के साथ शामिल किया गया है।
Well, I'd now like to call up on stage someone who's been instrumental in not just putting this document together, but also in the Samarth by Hyundai initiative in general. Nipun Malhotra is a real inspiration to all of us. He's the CEO and founder of the Nipman Foundation. He joins us on stage. We're also happy to have in the audience today Parajita Bharti, co-founder of the Young Leaders for Active Citizenship, or YLAC. YLAC and Nipman Foundation co-authored this document in partnership with Samarth. It really does have wonderful insights. Come join us, and recommendations that could aid disability-conscious policy making. Sikta.
निपुण, आप हमारे पहले दिन से इस इनिशिएटिव से जुड़े रहे और आज 1 साल पूरे हो रहे हैं। क्या बदलाव देखा आपने? कितना असर हमारे इस पहल ने डाला है?
I think I would like to congratulate both Hyundai and NDTV for this campaign. I think इस campaign ने काफ़ी change लाया attitudes of persons with disabilities के लिए, because पहले क्या होता था that जब disability मीडिया में cover होती थी, it was only covered कि अगर कोई school top कर रहा है, कोई college top कर रहा है, या कोई exam clear कर लिया किसी ने, इंग्लिश में एक टर्म होती है inspiration porn या feel good factor around disability, खाली वही होता था। I think with this campaign पहली बार issues related to disability cover किए गए हैं, whether it's in terms of infrastructure, education, employment, sports, as you saw earlier today. So I would really like to congratulate NDTV and Hyundai for this Samarth campaign.
Parajita, in terms of preparing the white paper, could you tell us what that experience has been? What does some of the data suggest?
Congratulations to everyone involved in this initiative. I think for us, so our organization is Young Leaders for Active Citizenship. It's very important for everybody to recognize disability as something that the entire society needs to work on. And through this paper, the idea was to bring a whole of society approach so that we are not just talking about physical infrastructure, we are also talking about digital infrastructure, because as the economy is changing, how are people able to access opportunities is changing very rapidly. So I think those were some of the interesting things that were less talked about before, but we were able to bring out some of those barriers as well that we are seeing even in the digital economy and not just physical
आप दोनों का
infrastructure.
बहुत शुक्रिया
Well,
लगातार
wonderful,
इस
Aparajita.
पहल से विष्णु जुड़े रहे दोनों
What we'd like to now do is very special, and in a sense, a great deal of what this entire program is all about. We'd like to invite on stage Mr. Ansu Kim, Mr. Tarun Garg, Mr. J.T. Park of Hyundai Motor India Limited, also Mr. Sanjay Pogalia, our editor-in-chief.
और हम अनुरोध करेंगे माननीय केंद्रीय मंत्री यूनियन मिनिस्टर फॉर सोशल जस्टिस एंड एम्पावरमेंट डॉक्टर वीरेंद्र कुमार को कि वो मंच पर आए. हम आपको दिव्यांगजनों पर चार्टर ऑफ रिकमेंडेशंस के साथ साथ पहली बार एक व्हाइट पेपर भी सौंपना चाहते हैं. लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन, प्लीज वेलकम यूनियन मिनिस्टर डॉक्टर वीरेंद्र कुमार.
And in a sense, this white paper is so much about what this entire effort is all about. What the expectations are, will these be realized?
मंत्री जी, आपसे अनुरोध है कि आप हमारे साथ मंच पर बने रहिए. वीरेंद्र जी, बहुत शुक्रिया, आपने इस पहल के लिए वक्त निकाला है. आप एक साल से इस पहल से जुड़े हुए हैं. हमारे इनॉग्रल इवेंट में वीरेंद्र जी आप आए थे और आज एक साल इस इनिशिएटिव को पूरा हो रहा है. हम स्वागत करते हैं आपका इस कार्यक्रम में. इस एक साल में आपने इस मंत्रालय की जिम्मेदारी एक बार फिर संभाली है. क्या बदलाव हो रहा है ज़मीन पर?
सबसे पहले तो मैं धन्यवाद करना चाहता हूँ. मैं जब आकर यहाँ पर बैठा, मेरी दृष्टि जब सामने स्क्रीन पर गई, मंजिल उनकी साथ हमारा. दिव्यांगजनों के सशक्तिकरण के लिए केंद्र सरकार लगातार अपनी विभिन्न गतिविधियों के माध्यम से उनके सामाजिक, आर्थिक, शैक्षिक सशक्तिकरण की दिशा में अनेक अभियानों को आगे बढ़ाने का काम कर रही है. लेकिन उसमें आपकी संस्था के द्वारा, समर्थ के द्वारा, हुंडई के द्वारा ये जो शुरुआत की गई है, यह अपने आप में काफ़ी दिव्यांगजनों के सशक्तिकरण के क्षेत्र में उनका उत्साहवर्धन करने, ऊर्जावर्धन करने के क्षेत्र में काफ़ी शक्तिवान साबित होगी. आपने जो बात कही है पिछले एक वर्ष में, तो हमने विभिन्न मंत्रालयों, विभागों के साथ में जो दिव्यांगजन नियमावली है, उस नियमावली के 15वें भाग के अंतर्गत सुगम्यता से संबंधित, दिव्यांगों के लिए सुगम्यता से संबंधित मानकों और विनिर्देशों को उनको समावेश करने का काम किया गया, जिसमें 38 भवनों को पूरी तरह से सुगम्य बनाया गया. साथ ही साथ 14 तीर्थ स्थलों का सुगम्यता ऑडिट भी कराया गया और सुगम्यता ऑडिट के काम को ठीक ढंग से, बेहतर ढंग से करने के लिए लेखा परीक्षकों की नियुक्तियां और उसमें फिर लेखा परीक्षकों का ट्रेनिंग के प्रोग्राम भी चलाने की दिशा में उस काम को भी आगे बढ़ाया हम लोगों ने.
जी,
विपुल, आपके पास भी सवाल है.
सर, पिछले 10 साल में चीज़ें तो काफ़ी आगे बढ़ी हैं. एक एक्सेसिबल इंडिया कैंपेन शुरू हुआ था, राइट्स ऑफ पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटीज एक्ट 2016 भी आया है, जिसने ये बोला था कि 5 साल में सब पब्लिक बिल्डिंग्स एक्सेसिबल हो जाएंगी. पर एक्सेसिबिलिटी की चैलेंज अभी भी रहती है. काफ़ी बिल्डिंग्स अभी भी पूरी तरीके से एक्सेसिबल हुई नहीं है. मेरे को पता है अपना एक्सेसिबल इंडिया कैंपेन 2 भी अब शुरू कर रहे हैं, तो हम कब तक आपको लगता है कि पूरा पब्लिक इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर एक्सेसिबल हो जाएगा और अब क्या कर रहे हैं उसको अचीव करने के लिए?
ये आपने बहुत अच्छा प्रश्न पूछा है. सुगम्यता के क्षेत्र में काम करना एक अनवरत, लगातार चलने वाला एक कार्य है और देश के प्रधानमंत्री आदरणीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी के कुशल मार्गदर्शन में सुगम्य भारत अभियान की जो शुरुआत हुई, सुगम्य भारत अभियान के अंतर्गत आप चाहे इस होटल में आए हों तो आपने देखा होगा कि रैंप यहाँ पर दिखते हैं। आप एयरपोर्ट पर आप जाते हैं तो आज एयरपोर्ट पर भी रैंप दिखाई देते हैं, लिफ्ट दिखाई देते हैं, हैंडल्स दिखाई देते हैं। स्कूल भवनों में जाते हैं तो स्कूल भवनों में भी वहाँ पर रैंप बनाए जाते हैं। रेलवे स्टेशन के प्लेटफॉर्म पर, हॉस्पिटल में, शासकीय भवनों में, ऐसे सार्वजनिक महत्व के स्थानों पर एक शुरुआत हुई और अधिकांश महत्वपूर्ण स्थानों पर आज दिव्यांगजनों को उनकी सुगम्यता को दृष्टिगत रखते हुए ये काम आज जहाँ प्रारंभ हुआ है उसमें विभाग के द्वारा लगातार राज्य सरकारों के साथ में हमारी लगातार संबंध बैठक होती रहती हैं। पिछली बार हमने त्रिपुरा में और केवड़िया मीटिंग की थी। अभी इसी महीने आगरे में फिर हमने देश के विभिन्न राज्यों के मंत्रियों के साथ में वहाँ के दिव्यांगता से संबंधित विभागों के जो मंत्री हैं और उनके जो सचिव हैं उन सचिवों के साथ में 2 दिन का मंथन कार्यक्रम किया, जिसमें दिव्यांगजनों के सशक्तिकरण के लिए, सुगम्यता के क्षेत्र में, शिक्षा, बुनियादी ढांचे, बाकी इन सब क्षेत्र में भी काफ़ी बेहतर ढंग से काम करने के लिए, क्योंकि ये काम केवल केंद्र सरकार के अकेले से नहीं होने वाला। इसमें केंद्र सरकार के साथ साथ राज्य सरकारों के बीच में सहभागिता आवश्यक है, एनजीओ की भी, गैर सरकारी संगठनों की, और जिस तरह से समर्थ ने ये शुरुआत की है, हुंडई ने समर्थ के कार्यक्रम के माध्यम से शुरुआत की है, इस तरह जब सभी समाज एक साथ चलेगा तो निश्चित रूप से एक दिन वो आएगा जो आपने बात रखी है, हम उस दिशा में निश्चित रूप से सफल होंगे।
सर आपने बहुत सही बोला कि खाली केंद्र सरकार नहीं बट स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स, प्राइवेट सेक्टर, एनजीओस को भी आगे बहुत करना पड़ेगा इंडिया की कम्युनिटी को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए। बट सर केंद्रीय सरकार में भी अभी क्या होता है कि एक डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ डिसेबिलिटी अफेयर्स है मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ सोशल जस्टिस में, और लोगों को यही लगता है कि पूरी प्रॉब्लम्स उसी डिपार्टमेंट को एक सॉल्व करनी है। बट डिसेबिलिटी एक इतना इंटरसेक्शनल इशू है कि प्रॉब्लम उनकी हेल्थ की होती है, एजुकेशन की होती है, एम्प्लॉयमेंट की होती है, और बाकी मंत्रालयों को भी बहुत कुछ करना पड़ेगा फॉर दैट। तो बाकी जो मिनिस्टर्स हैं आपके, उनके लिए क्या मैसेज होगा आपको कि इंडिया पूरी तरीके से मेरी कम्युनिटी के लिए पूरी तरीके से फ्रेंडली बने?
मुझे आपके प्रश्न से बहुत प्रसन्नता हुई कि एक आपने एक जिम्मेवारी की भावना के साथ में दिव्यांगता से संबंधित एक बहुत महत्वपूर्ण बिंदु को आपने इस प्लेटफॉर्म के माध्यम से आगे लाया है। वास्तव में दिव्यांगता हम सबके लिए सामूहिक रूप से एक साथ काम करने का क्षेत्र है, जिसमें चाहे वो शिक्षा की बात हो, स्वास्थ्य की बात हो, आवास की बात हो, उनके बुनियादी ढांचों के विकास की बात हो। केंद्र सरकार का जो हमारा सामाजिक न्याय विभाग का दिव्यांगजन सशक्तिकरण विभाग है, दिव्यांगजन सशक्तिकरण विभाग अपने विभाग के माध्यम से चाहे उन शिक्षा की बात हो, चाहे उनकी स्कॉलरशिप की बात हो, उनके स्किल ट्रेनिंग की बात हो, उनको विशेष रोजगार मेले का आयोजन करके उनके रोजगार मेले के माध्यम से उनको रोजगार उपलब्ध कराने की बात हो, दिव्यांगता वित्त विकास निगम से उनको अपना उद्यम के क्षेत्र में आगे बढ़ाने की बात हो, हम इस दिशा में तो काम कर ही रहे हैं। इसके साथ ही साथ हम विभिन्न विभागों के साथ में भी लगातार इस दिशा में काम करके कि बाकी विभागों का भी इसमें सहयोग मिले, ताकि सब मिल करके दिव्यांगजनों को पूरी तरह से उनको उनके शैक्षणिक, सामाजिक, आर्थिक सशक्तिकरण का उनको न केवल उनको सशक्त बनाने के लिए, बल्कि जब एक दिव्यांगजन सशक्त होता है तो उस दिव्यांगजन के सशक्त होने से परिवार सशक्त होता है, और परिवार के सशक्त होने से समाज सशक्त होता है, और जब समाज सशक्त होता है तो देश के प्रधानमंत्री आदरणीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी की भावना के अनुरूप जो विकसित भारत की परिकल्पना को लेकर आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री चल रहे हैं, उसमें सबका साथ, सबका विकास, सबका विश्वास और सभी का सामूहिक प्रयास, उन सभी के सामूहिक प्रयासों में हमारे दिव्यांगजनों का भी सामूहिक प्रयास उसमें विकसित भारत की परिकल्पना को साकार करने में शामिल होगा।
सर, दिव्यांगजनों को एम्पावर करने के लिए प्राइवेट सेक्टर का क्या रोल होना चाहिए?
दिव्यांगजनों का, मैंने जैसा पूर्व में कहा कि दिव्यांगजनों के सशक्तिकरण में सभी के सहयोग की आवश्यकता है। उसमें हमारा जो उद्यमिता क्षेत्र है, उद्यमिता क्षेत्र और निजी क्षेत्र के लोगों को भी इसमें आगे आना पड़ेगा। इस दिशा में दिव्यांगता सशक्तिकरण विभाग ने स्टार्टअप और इस क्षेत्र में काम करने वाले संगठनों के साथ में 70 समझौता हस्ताक्षर इस दिशा में किए, ताकि दिव्यांगजनों के सशक्तिकरण के लिए काम को निजी क्षेत्र का भी सहयोग लेकर, उद्यमिता के क्षेत्र का भी सहयोग लेकर उसको ज़्यादा प्रभावी ढंग से क्रियान्वित किया जा सके।
वीरेंद्र जी, आपने इस पहल की तारीफ की। हम उम्मीद करते हैं कि आपने पिछले 1 सालों में इस पहल ने क्या क्या ज़मीन पर काम किया, उस पर भी आपकी नज़र रही होगी। ऐसे में ये बताइए कि इस तरह के पहल, चाहे वो अवेयरनेस क्रिएट करने को लेकर हो या फिर इम्प्लीमेंटेशन को लेकर, किस तरह का काम समर्थ जैसे पहल कर सकते हैं ज़मीन पर?
जिस तरह से हुंडई ने समर से शुरुआत की है, मंजिल उनकी साथ हमारा, अब उनको अवेयरनेस प्रोग्राम के साथ में जोड़ने के लिए, जागरूकता के साथ में जोड़ने के लिए हम जहां रेडियो, टेलीविज़न, सोशल मीडिया, इन सारे संसाधनों का उपयोग कर रहे हैं, वही साथ ही साथ मंत्रालय के द्वारा चाहे वो दिव्य कला मेले की बात हो, चाहे दिव्य कला शक्ति की बात हो, और उन दिव्य कला मेलों में रोजगार मेलों के साथ में जोड़ने की बात हो, फिर एडिप योजना के अंतर्गत दिव्यांगजनों के लिए सहायक उपकरणों की बात हो, ये सब उनके अवेयरनेस के लिए, एक और जहां उनको सशक्त बनाने के लिए, सशक्त बनाने के साथ ही साथ उनको अवेयरनेस प्रोग्राम से जोड़ने के लिए भी, क्योंकि जब इस तरह के कार्यक्रमों का आयोजन होता है तो उसमें केवल हमारे एक दिव्यांगजन अकेला नहीं आता, उस दिव्यांगजन के साथ में परिवार के परिजन भी आते हैं, उसके साथी भी आते हैं। और जब इस तरह की संस्थाओं के द्वारा इस तरह के कार्यक्रमों को स्वरूप प्रदान किया जाता है, एक वर्ष पहले हुंडई के द्वारा यहीं से इस स्थान से शुरुआत की गई थी, और एक वर्ष में जैसे विभिन्न गतिविधियों के माध्यम से दिव्यांगता के क्षेत्र में इस काम को आगे बढ़ाया गया। यही तो अवेयरनेस है, यही तो जागरूकता है। तो इसमें केंद्र सरकार तो काम कर ही रही है। मैंने जैसा आपको बताया कि अभी हमारी इसी महीने में देश के विभिन्न राज्यों के इस क्षेत्र में काम करने वाले संबंधित मंत्रियों को भी हमने बुलाया था, संबंधित हमारे सचिवों को भी बुलाया था राज्य सरकार के, और उन्होंने आकर बड़ी प्रसन्नता व्यक्त की थी, क्योंकि बहुत सारी योजनाओं की जानकारी केंद्र सरकार के द्वारा जो चलाए जा रहे हैं कार्यक्रम, उन कार्यक्रमों की जानकारी उनको नहीं थी, जबकि हम भेजते सभी हैं। लेकिन वहाँ पर हमने हर योजना के बारे में प्रेजेंटेशन करने के लिए व्यापक प्रेजेंटेशन, उसके बाद उनका कोई शंका समाधान है उसके लिए भी व्यवस्था की गई थी। तो ये जो इस तरह की गतिविधियाँ हैं, ऐसी गतिविधियों के माध्यम से ही दिव्यांगजनों के लिए देश भर में, चाहे वो केंद्र सरकार के द्वारा चलाई जाने वाली योजनाएं हों, चाहे वो राज्य सरकारों के द्वारा चलाई जाने वाली योजनाएं हों, और इनके साथ ही साथ निजी क्षेत्र और गैर सरकारी संगठनों के द्वारा भी दिव्यांगता के सशक्तिकरण के क्षेत्र में जो कार्यक्रम चलाए जाते हैं, जब उनकी सामूहिक रूप से चर्चा होती है तो ये जागरूकता प्रोग्राम हमारे दिव्यांगजनों के सशक्तिकरण के लिए एक महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका का निर्वाह करते हैं।
बहुत शुक्रिया। मकसद भी यही है समर्थ का। आपके मंत्रालय की एक योजना है एस्पिरेशनल डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स में दिव्यांगजनों के लिए कैंप्स लगाना। उस योजना का क्या असर रहा है और कितना काम उसके तहत हुआ है मंत्री जी?
दिव्यांगजनों के सशक्तिकरण के लिए दिव्यांगजन सशक्तिकरण विभाग के द्वारा एटिप योजना के अंतर्गत देश भर में पहले परीक्षण शिविर लगाए जाते हैं। परीक्षण शिविर लगाकर उसमें इस बात को सुनिश्चित किया जाता है कि किस दिव्यांग के लिए किस तरह के उपकरण की आवश्यकता है, और परीक्षण शिविरों के बाद फिर शिविर लगा करके सहायक उपकरणों के वितरण का कार्यक्रम किया जाता है। यह जो आपने एस्पिरेशनल डिस्ट्रिक्ट की बात की, हमने अभी पिछले दिनों 100 आकांक्षी ब्लॉकों का चयन करके और उसमें परीक्षण हमने शिविर लाए, और परीक्षण शिविर के उपरांत 91 आकांक्षी शिविरों में ब्लॉकों में दिव्यांगजनों के लिए सहायक उपकरणों के वितरण का कार्यक्रम भी हमारा पूरा हो चुका है। अक्टूबर माह में जो शेष 9 स्थान रह गए उन 100 आकांक्षी ब्लॉकों में से उन बाकी 9 स्थानों पर भी हमारा वितरण का कार्यक्रम किया जाएगा। अभी तक जब से ये योजना प्रारंभ हुई है, लगभग 16,000 शिविरों के माध्यम से 29 लाख दिव्यांगजनों के लिए सहायक उपकरणों का वितरण किया गया, और ये सहायक उपकरणों के वितरण के उपरांत दिव्यांगजनों के जीवन में वो सहायक उपकरण प्राप्त होने से उनको अपनी दैनंदिन गतिविधियों को जहां आगे बढ़ाने में सहायता मिली, वहीं वो समाज को भी अपने विभिन्न गतिविधियों के माध्यम से वो सहायक उपकरण प्राप्त हो जाने के बाद आगे बढ़ाने का काम कर रहे हैं। हमारे साथी ने बहुत, मैं आपको साहब कई बार मिलना हुआ है, मैं देख रहा हूँ कि आपने अपनी दिव्यांगता को अपने जीवन में कहीं बाधा नहीं बनने दिया, बल्कि आपने अंदर की ऊर्जा को आगे बढ़ाकर इस क्षेत्र में दिव्यांगजनों को सशक्त बनाने की दिशा में, जैसे हमारे इस भाई ने कदम बढ़ाया है, ये हमारे दिव्यांगजनों में प्रतिभाओं की कमी नहीं है, उनके अंदर प्रतिभाओं की कमी, उस प्रतिभा को आगे ला करके उनको प्रोत्साहित करने की, दिव्यांगजन सहानुभूति नहीं चाहता, दिव्यांगजनों को वास्तव में प्रोत्साहित करने की आवश्यकता है। और आपका प्रोत्साहन, समाज का प्रोत्साहन दिव्यांगजनों को जहाँ स्वयं उनको सशक्त बनाता है, वहीं उनको समाज को, देश के विकास में भी योगदान जोड़ने के लिए भी आगे बढ़ाने का काम हमारे दिव्यांगजनों के द्वारा किया जाता है।
एक आखिरी सवाल वीरेंद्र जी, आप चार्टर ऑफ रिकमेंडेशंस जो समर्थ ने आपको सौंपा है, आपने उन पॉइंट्स को देखा है। ऐसे में हम आपसे इस मंच पर ये जानना चाहेंगे कि उन रिकमेंडेशंस में से आप कौन से वो मुद्दे हैं, कौन से ऐसे वो पॉइंट हैं जो अगले 1 साल में इम्प्लीमेंट कर सकते हैं।
चार्टर के जितने भी बिंदु हैं, हम सभी बिंदुओं पर काम करने के लिए विभाग पूरी तरह से प्रतिबद्धता के साथ में काम करने के लिए आगे बढ़ रहा है।
I think that's the big promise that we were looking for, the minister committing to all the points in the charter that we worked on throughout this year. Thank you, sir. That means the world
कामयाबी
for us.
हमारे लिए, बहुत शुक्रिया।
Well, it's time now for the Samarth Hero Awards. These are awards that recognize and honor individuals and institutions who have created solutions or spaces that provide greater accessibility and inclusivity. Before we get to the awards, I'd like to call on stage Arman Ali, the Executive Director of the National Center for Promotion of Employment for Disabled People, NCPEDP, has been a key knowledge partner in these awards. Arman, welcome on stage. Come, please. A big round of applause over here. I must ask you, we have award ceremonies and there are so many would consider it just a talk shop. But why do you believe that ceremonies like this, why do you believe campaigns like this are absolutely essential? And when you helped us design a lot of what we did, what was it in your mind that came first?
Vishnu, I think awards, especially for in the disability sector, it's not for what that organization or individual is doing. The purpose is to create awareness. I think it's a great advocacy tool when you recognize efforts to, which anything to do with people with disability to mainstream their issues. So I think this is excellent, and the kind of support which is coming from Hyundai and NCPEDP and NDTV, I think it has got a lot of attention and will change mindset. So I think organizing and recognizing people who are supporting disability is absolutely essential to do.
It has got a great deal of acceptance. Both Sikta and I have seen it, traveling across the country. People remember small features because this has gone on throughout the year. And it means the world to us that, that message, however small it may be, has actually gone across. So that's really important. And I think your views are very welcome about what this
Yes.
achieves.
So we at NCPEDP, we've been running these awards from last 25 years, and very important to keep the flag flying. Issues of people with disabilities across on an everyday basis, lived experience of people with disabilities. Through these awards, these becomes mainstream discussions points.
Thank you so much for being such an important part of this.
I'd like to again invite on stage Mr. Ansup Kim, Mr. Tarun Garg and Mr. J.T. Park from Hyundai Motor India Limited.
And we'd also take this opportunity of inviting the Union Minister for Social Justice and Empowerment to be with us once again on the stage as we go through this list of exemplary achievers. Come. Hi, yes.
We begin with the award for excellence in assistive solutions. And the award goes to NeoMotion Chennai. Their products NeoFly and NeoBolt in combination turn a personalized wheelchair which is smooth to propel into a roadworthy vehicle. Representing NeoMotion is co-founder Siddharth Daga, who is also the Chief Impact Officer.
We've got the entire team over here coming up. But Siddharth, if you can accept the award from the Minister. And let me just quickly come across to ask you a quick question. So Siddharth, the question is this: how easy or how difficult is it for a normal wheelchair user to strap on the bolt, as it were, and use it and commute effectively? Why don't you show us, in fact, what exactly happens? Let me grab that from you, take your award away, and pass it on to Sikta for a moment so that we can actually get an idea of how this actually works. Why don't you show us? And it's as easy as that. Tell us how you went about with this idea and the design.
Thank you, thank you. First of all, it's an honor to meet you also. I've been watching NDTV since I was a child, so I think it's an honor to meet you as well. Thank you so much. And all the other anchors, thank you. Our journey started in our final year of engineering at IIT Madras. We were given a problem statement. In fact, just a thought for all of you. We all swim. Most of us, I hope, can swim. But swimming is actually a very good form of exercise, even for a person with paralysis. But have you ever thought, how can a wheelchair user get into a swimming pool? Independently, or, without somebody touching them, without somebody actually picking them, putting them into the pool, sometimes leads to a lot of accidents. So our journey started by just making a simple hoist system for a wheelchair user to get into a swimming pool so that they can swim and get a form of exercise. But then that's where we met a lot of wheelchair users to understand that, it's very difficult for me to come to the pool for testing. It's very difficult for me because my parents are not there today. I need to get into an auto, I need to get into a car. So that's when we realized that we need to have a solution which allows any wheelchair user to go anywhere, to school, to college, to a market, for practice, for sports, independently, without having to depend on somebody, without having to think twice, thrice. So that's what led to the NeoFly and the NeoBolt, where, like you just saw, and Pravesh, Abhishek, Preshta ji, all have come from different parts of Delhi on the NeoBolt. So that shows that how easy it is to just travel here and there.
And I can tell you, I'm sure our partners from Hyundai are looking at the engineering solutions over here because they're all engineers at heart. And it is absolutely fantastic. But thank you so much for sharing the technology over here. It's effective, it does something which works, and it helps so many. How many users do you have?
So today we are 5,500 strong users going out, watching a movie, watching a match, going for practice, going to college. So one thing we definitely saw is that while we started with mobility, we understood that we need to get this into mainstream society. So we started focusing on inclusive education, inclusive livelihood. We tied up with Zomato, and there are today 400 people on wheelchairs who are actually delivering your food on Zomato when you order them. And this is how we will scale this up. A person should be working in a retail shop, he should be working at Chroma, in Decathlon. It should be very easy for somebody to just go and work. It should not be difficult. It's that simple as that. And I would just, at the end, thank you, Arman, for guiding us at every step. I mean, that's where we understood that it doesn't stop at just engineering. We sort of probably need to get into...
coming up?
Yes, we do. We have a standing wheelchair that we've launched. We've launched our lightweight wheelchair, which Preshtaji is one of our earliest users. So yes, constant development is happening, even for para sports for that matter. All the accessories that you need for shooting, for various sports, we are designing that. We are ensuring that athletes have the right equipment to...
Great, super. Thank you so much, and congratulations once again.
बहुत-बहुत मुबारक आपको.
Can I ask you, please, to...
बहुत शुक्रिया.
अब हम समावेशी शिक्षा में एक्सेलेंस के लिए पुरस्कार की बात कर रहे हैं और इस कैटेगरी के विजेता हैं उड़ीसा की स्वाभिमान। स्वाभिमान का फोकस एरिया स्कूली शिक्षा का समर्थन करना है। इसके प्रमुख कार्यक्रम में अंजलि शामिल है, भारत का पहला और एकमात्र अंतर्राष्ट्रीय बाल महोत्सव जो दिव्यांग और गैर दिव्यांग बच्चों को 5 दिवसीय गतिविधियों के बारे में एक दूसरों को जानने के लिए एक मंच देता है। स्वाभिमान का प्रतिनिधित्व बोर्ड मेंबर प्रियदर्शी मोहापात्रा कर रहे हैं।
प्रियदर्शनी।
एक सवाल, पहले तो बहुत बहुत मुबारक, और एक सवाल ये कि जब आपने सभी बच्चों को एक मंच दिया तो क्या बदलाव देखा समझ में, आपसी बातचीत में कितना बदलाव आपने देखा?
देखिए, मैं आज सुबह से ये सुन रहा हूँ कि जो चैलेंजेस हैं दिव्यांगों के लिए, और हम उनके लिए बहुत सारी चीज़ करना चाहते हैं, बट ये समाज में अगर एक्चुअल वे से हम ये इक्वलिटी और इंक्लूजन लाना चाहते हैं तो हमको उनको मेन स्ट्रीम में लाना पड़ेगा। और जब अंजलि और ये एजुकेशन का सिस्टम हुआ कि आप मेन स्ट्रीम स्कूल में इनको लेके जाइए, इनके लिए कुछ अलग से नहीं बनाइए, क्योंकि ज़िंदगी में आगे जाके इनको सबके साथ एक कदम बढ़ा के आगे बढ़ना है, कोई अलग से इनके लिए रास्ता नहीं बनेगा। तो ये जब किया, आई थिंक सोच में बहुत बड़ा प्रभाव आया। बहुत सारे चीज़ हुए थे, बहुत सारे ऐसे स्टेप्स लिए गए थे जिनसे फिजिकल चैलेंजेस ओवरकम हो सके। ये आई थिंक एक बहुत बड़ा मेंटल बैरियर को ओवरकम किया कि मेन स्ट्रीम में हम सबके साथ कदम से कदम मिला के आगे बढ़ सकते हैं।
आपकी कोशिशों को सलाम और एक बार फिर बहुत बहुत मुबारक। इस सम्मान
जी, थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Our next award is the Award for Excellence in Accessible Infrastructure. Winning this category is the Museum of Art and Photography in Bengaluru. This museum is committed to making art accessible to all, and so it has integrated universal design features in its physical space. From ramps and quiet rooms to Indian Sign Language support and tactile artworks for sensory exploration. Representing the Museum of Art and Photography is its member, Shailesh Kulal.
Come, please. Well, I had a simple question, if I can squeeze in over here just to ask. So many museums across the country, and yet when it comes to accessibility, it's a problem. What is your message to other museums, to other places where the public can visit in terms of enhancing, accessibility?
So I think thanks all of you. I mean, NDTV and Hyundai is honoring us, and I think first of all we would like to thank to Emphasis F1 Foundation, who is our accessibility partner, who had really helped us to make Museum of Art and Photography accessible to everybody. So, so it is very important that art and has a power of changing something, and it's important that art should be accessible for everybody. And that is where we took a step to make our museum accessible with different features, like starting from building accessibility, our exhibitions, and our programming, content, and our HR practices, everything. So what I basically say here is that, other people, like the public spaces or private spaces, wherever how it is important for you to live with food, and accessibility and inclusion is for people with disability like us is very important. So taking that step, making these public spaces accessible for everyone is very important, so that we can also live with the dignity and without any barrier. So yeah.
That's a wonderful message. Thank you very much. And congratulations once again.
अब हम एक्सेलेंस इन इंक्लूसिव स्पोर्ट्स के अवार्ड की तरफ बढ़ते हैं और इस कैटेगरी के विजेता हैं सुनील कुमार जैन, जो आस्था के फाउंडर और चीफ इनेबलर हैं। उन्होंने भारत में व्हीलचेयर टेनिस को आगे बढ़ाने में अपना महत्वपूर्ण योगदान दिया है। उन्होंने एक्सेसिबल स्पोर्ट्स फैसिलिटीज़ पर जोर दिया है और उनका मौजूदा ध्यान दिव्यांग बच्चों और उनके लिए एक पूरी तरह से एक्सेसिबल व्हीलचेयर टेनिस ट्रेनिंग सुविधा स्थापित करने पर केंद्रित है।
सुनील जी, मेरा एक सवाल आपसे, जब 2016 में आपने अपने काम की शुरुआत की थी, तब एक्सेसिबल स्पोर्ट्स फैसिलिटीज़ को लेकर तमाम कोशिशें चल रही थी, लेकिन बहुत कामयाबी हासिल नहीं हुई थी। अब जब हमारे एथलीट्स शिखर छू रहे हैं, नए मुकाम हासिल कर रहे हैं, तो उम्मीद बनती है मोटिवेशन भी ज़मीन पर बढ़ा होगा।
First of all, thank you so much NCPD Arman for being instrumental in having me here. And 2016 when we started, wheelchair tennis not anybody knows in India. Not many people know, right? We have not accomplished any medal as a sport yet. And we are in the journey. And the whole idea of starting Indian Wheelchair Tennis Tour was to have sports available for people, just like sports, right? The question of increasing medal year after year is surely done for India. Kind of population we have and the kind of corporate investment, government policies, we are all moving ahead. We'll definitely have more and more medal. There is absolutely, we shouldn't have any doubt about it. The larger question I think we should all ask is what's happening from the grassroots till the medal, right? The journey of it's not athlete becomes an athlete. He's just start a free play. I need just to play freely. The focus, attention, if I can divert there are a lot of barrier yet. Policy barrier, infrastructure barrier. That's when the thought came, can I work with wheelchair tennis to create an ecosystem using wheelchair tennis as an example, create an ecosystem that works on a 360-degree approach, which means having a grassroots development work. We didn't have kids playing wheelchair tennis in India. We have 22 kids practicing in India, wheelchair tennis. Then competitive structure. Can I strengthen the competitive structure? Where only 1 or 2 tournaments used to happen in 2-3 years.
Yes.
We have 12 tournaments in the last 4-5 years, right? And top athlete development. So everything is like a cycle. And we as a country, every ecosystem has a stakeholders, right? If we don't come together for a larger purpose, and accessibility is one issue, according to me, is one of the issues. But there is a lot yet to be done.
I couldn't agree more. It's an entire process that needs to come together.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for being with us today and sharing those thoughts. And we'd love to expand on that and see what we can do as we think more deeply about this. Thank you so much. And congratulations once again.
And thank you so much for this initiative. As Armar was saying, it is this kind of issues that actually allows everybody, like every stakeholders, to actually know what's happening. And thank you so much for taking that effort and creating this initiative. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
The last of our Samarth Hero Awards is the Diversity, Equity and Inclusive Workspace Award. And this award goes to Amazon India for sustainably deploying Divyangjan as frontline associates at their operations sites since 2017, and not just deploying them, but also creating an enabling ecosystem and effectively mapping skills to jobs. Now, Amazon is represented by its DEI champions who work under the leadership of Liju Thomas, HR Director, India Operations, and Arun Kumar Singh, Director, Amazon Transport Services.
Congratulations, all of you. Once again, let's get a photo happening over here. Liju, I had a question for you, and I'll pass you this mic. And the question is this: how is diversity and inclusion a fundamental part of your workplace? More than just words, how are you enabling inclusion to take place?
Our heartfelt thanks to Samarth by Hyundai and NDTV for this recognition, and NCPDP for nominating us for this award. At Amazon, our journey started with deploying 5 deaf and hard of hearing associates a few years back in one of our delivery stations. We've come a long way since then, and today we have more than 2,300 disabled associates working with us. And this includes people with intellectual disabilities, visual disabilities, locomotor disabilities, as well as acid attack survivors. While we are proud of the progress we have made, we still believe that we are just getting started, and there's a long journey for us to move ahead. Or as we say in Amazon, it is still day one. I'm also taking this opportunity to thank the thousands of Amazonians who come each day to work wanting to make our workplace more equitable and more inclusive for people with disabilities. And it is at the ethos of our workplace that diversity and inclusion is integrated into your business, and that shows in our progress.
That's fantastic. Congratulations once again to the entire Amazon team, and thank you very much for being with us. All right, well, it's time now for us to request Mr. Ansuke, Mr. Tarun Garg, and Mr. J.T. Park from Hyundai Motor India Limited to present a memento to Dr. Virendra Kumar. Thank you very much, sir, for being with us. We are delighted that you could be with us to share your views and your commitment to what we believe is a cause for billions plus across this country.
बहुत शुक्रिया माननीय मंत्री जी कि आप हमारी इस पहल में शामिल हुए पहले से आखिरी दिन में, और आप हमारे साथ हैं, इस समर्थ के साथ हैं.
All right, thank you everyone, and thank you to the Union Minister for Social Justice and Empowerment, Dr. Virendra Kumar, for joining the culmination show of the first year of Samarth by Hyundai. Thank you, gentlemen. And up next is something very special. A year ago, we launched the Samarth Anthem. It was performed for the very first time at the launch of the Samarth by Hyundai initiative by the boys of the Jormal Perival Memorial Senior Secondary School for the Blind. Now, since then, the distinctive melody and rousing words, they have become one of the hallmarks of Samarth by Hyundai. And today, it is being performed once more, this time by children from the Amar Jyoti Charitable Trust. The foundation for Amar Jyoti was laid by Dr. Uma Tuli in 1981. This institute is dedicated to creating an inclusive learning environment where children with different disabilities can thrive and reach their full potential. And that is exactly what you will see in this performance.
तू सोच ले अब तो उड़ना है, तू सोच पहाड़ से भिड़ना है. तू सोच ले अब तो उड़ना है, तू सोच पहाड़ से भिड़ना है. तू सोच के अंबर नापेंगे, तू सोच के गिर के उठना है. तू जैसा जैसा सोचेगा, हम वैसा मंजर कर देंगे. समर्थ मेरे यारा समर्थ
समर्थ
एक बार फिर से बहुत बहुत स्वागत है आप तमाम लोगों का। अब हम बातचीत को एक अलग दिशा में ले जाना चाहते हैं, स्किलिंग की तरफ, एजुकेशन और ट्रेनिंग की तरफ हम बात करना चाह रहे हैं। एक्सेसिबिलिटी की बात ज़रूरी है क्योंकि जो नौकरियां हैं और जो रोज़गार के अवसर हैं वो किस तरह से पैदा होंगे ये जानना ज़रूरी है। हमारे चार्टर ऑफ रिकमेंडेशन में एक रिकमेंडेशन जो है वो रोज़गार से भी जुड़ा हुआ है, जिसमें शिक्षा, कौशल विकास, रोज़गार और समावेश के अवसरों को बनाने के तरीकों पर चर्चा की गई है। तो हमें बहुत हम सम्मानित हैं कि मिनिस्टर फॉर स्किल डेवलपमेंट और एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप के सामने ये रिकमेंडेशंस का चार्टर हम प्रस्तुत करेंगे और हमारे साथ मिनिस्टर जो हैं वो जुड़ गए हैं। चार्टर प्रस्तुत करने के लिए समय में स्टेज पर आमंत्रित करना चाहूँगी Hyundai मोटर इंडिया लिमिटेड से मिस्टर अंशु किम, मिस्टर तरुण गर्ग और मिस्टर JT पार्को और साथ ही मिस्टर संजय पुगालिया।
Can I request the Minister to please come onto the stage? The Minister for Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. Sanjay ji, over here. And we're delighted to present this to you. Thank you, gentlemen. Could I request you and the Minister, if you can stay behind, sir. We aren't letting you go quite so soon. Thank you for all of you. To please be seated. Shri Chaudhary, I now invite you to address the gathering today. Come, please.
Hello, greetings. The Hyundai India representatives, Sri Kim, if I may say so, and NDTV. This is a great high-impact partnership, if I may say so. Hyundai is running a Samarth program. I haven't read these recommendations, but I believe they're coming from the right place. And they're coming after a well-researched outreach. NDTV brings a certain visibility, and Hyundai brings a certain social aptitude. I think this is a cause, an issue that personally I can deeply identify with. And it's one of the pillars of the Indian ethos, our societal way of thinking, our social practice. Growth is important. The pace of Indian growth, whether it's in the stock market or it's in the economy, is something that is being talked about throughout the globe. And as India positions itself as an attractive market, as a marketplace, as a producer, as an attractive investment opportunity, as a global competitor, we must also position ourselves as a society that is inclusive, a growth that is inclusive, that reaches all parts of our country, considering our regional requirements, our communities. And a strong aspect of that is looking at those who have been born with something that was referred to as handicaps, but the present government has referred to that community as Divyangs, as being specially abled. So I think this is an aspect which is very important, and I think our para-athletes in particular are playing a vital role. Sports is competitive. Sports helps all of us, the viewers, people who are cheerleaders for the sports persons, people who in our imagination can put ourselves on the field when we watch a sports person perform. For all of us, our sports champions help us reach the highest of our imagination. I remember as a young man, yeah, in politics I am still a young man, but it's all relative. Watching on the field, when Tendulkar walked out, the cheers of his name, or the Tufan of Dhanraj Pillai, his speed when he was running on the hockey field. Those are times when you could feel your goosebumps, and you could feel great cheering for Indian sports persons who were competing at the global stage. I felt the same tingle, the same sense of warmth, same sense of pride when I saw our Paralympians perform, achieve, and win. I'm so proud that NSDC, National Skill Development Corporation, has actually made Preeti Pal our ambassador. She's won 2 medals for India. She made a record in herself. I visited her village. It's a very small village. And you can imagine when you visit a village, what is the glass ceiling for them? What can they hope to achieve at a moment where the entire village is won? It is not just Preeti Pal who has won. Every villager was with her in the sense of pride and achievement. And I visited her small house, I visited her family. Villagers came and told me, sir, हमारे यहाँ शमशान घाट बनवा दीजिए, हमारे यहाँ तालाब का सौंदर्यीकरण करा लीजिए. The pond, the village pond, is not developed. They don't have a place where they can pay their last respects to people who have died from their village. So these are very base level aspirations that collectively as a nation we must fulfill. And I feel that if Hyundai, NDTV, our corporates of our country come together, they're doing a lot of CSR. Our government, our ministries, if we direct our resources towards uplifting the people, just as a beginning, as a start, from the villages of our sports persons, I think we'll create a new churn in Indian society. We'll create a new aspiration for all young people in our country. I'm an MP who's given my entire MP lad, and there are pressures on us. Sir, सड़क बना दीजिए, नाली बनवा दीजिए, पीने का पानी की व्यवस्था नहीं है, विद्युतीकरण नहीं है, सर हमारे कॉलेज में कमरा बनवा दीजिए, कंप्यूटर लैब दे दीजिए. These are all important concerns. I've said I'm going to give my entire MP lad towards creating sports infrastructure. Because I truly believe it is uplifting us. It is helping our young people break through barriers. And there are many barriers. We are not unique in constructing barriers for our own people. These barriers exist in every society, through the prism of class, through whatever prism of elitism that we create for our own society to divide them. But in Indian society, that prism is caste. That prism is urban and rural. And beyond that, it is also class. So there are many barriers that we need to break. I think sports is one platform where people don't care When we see a champion, we recognize that person's hard work, endurance, talent, we are cheering for them. We don't care where they come from. And that is the spirit where you need to look at our specially abled. It doesn't matter where they are born. It doesn't matter what circumstances they are born with. Their physicality shouldn't matter. So that sense, core sense of humanity, I think sports is a powerful, powerful way of addressing that concern. So I'm so happy that you have done this. I'm in charge of 2 departments, which directly deal with our future aspirations. Firstly, this is a government that is not looking at just 5 years. It is want in every politician to win an election and then worry about the next one. This is not our mandate to think about what's going to happen in 25 years. But here we have a government that is enunciating that is communicating that is asking entire country to believe with us, to aspire for that, to think about themselves, think about our society, think about our nation. So it's a forward-looking, aspirational policy and program. And in line with that, our education policy is also a progressive document. We can have combative spirits, which is the basic tenet of democracy, where some states are saying, no, we reject this policy because it is creating a monopoly of language. Those are politically nuanced positions. But the actual truth is, and I invite all of you to actually read the NEP document, the National Education Policy 2020 document, because it is asking us to contextualize at the level of the student, at the level of the language spoken by the local community, so that the medium of instruction is also localized and contextualized. It is creating that mandate for us. It is up to us how much we can achieve. We have 22 scheduled languages in our constitutional scheme of things. We are now providing primers. We're taking our curriculum, we're taking our books, and we're giving them to the states in all those 22 languages. And we're saying that language is just a medium. It is the idea that is powerful. It is the thought. It is the desire to innovate, to think beyond boundaries, to break those barriers. If we are able to seed that ability, capability, competence in every student and child of India, that is the way, that is the pathway to a developed country by 2047. So I commend our policy. I think it is very progressive. I have a big mandate to fulfill. And as far as looking at the specially abled, looking at developing curriculum, looking at re-engineering our school infrastructure so that everyone can comprehend and be a part of that system. Currently, if you look at it, 78% of our school infrastructure is now it has been re-engineered. There are ramps. There is a capability. It was not there before, but now we are looking at that very progressively. Also, we have in Skill Ministry a separate council from 2015, which is designed for looking at the needs and aspirations of the specially abled. And around 323 curriculum has been prepared by the Skill Council across 28 sectors, 28 important vital sectors of the economy. And they are actually providing skilling programs. 1.7 lakh people have already been given skill training with regards to this curriculum, with regards to these job roles, who come from that background. So these are small steps. I thank Samarth that I'm sure in this document, it's a great looking folder, and they have some good ideas. I'll just say that, we're trying to fulfill the mandate and the belief that you have bestowed on us. George Evans said that, and I believe that, every student can learn, not on the same day, not in the same way. I think that is the way in education and skilling we need to look at it throughout the entire ecosystem and embrace people who come from different backgrounds with a different ethic and give them that opportunity to exceed expectations. With that, I thank this gathering.
Thank you so much for giving us an idea of what all the government is trying to do to make the society, the system inclusive, और अपने स्कूलों की बात भी बताई कैसे अब ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा स्कूल्स जो हैं वो रैम्प्स बना रहे हैं और बना चुके हैं। अब एक बहुत ही ख़ास बातचीत के लिए एक बार फिर से मंच पर आमंत्रित करना चाहती हूँ पैरिस पैरालंपिक्स के रजत पदक विजेता योगेश कथुनिया को। उन्होंने 2 पैरालंपिक पदक जीते हैं, 2 विश्व चैंपियनशिप पदक और 1 पदक पैरा एशियन गेम्स में जीता है। आज वो हरियाणा के एम्बेसडर होने का एक और खिताब जीत रहे हैं, तो गुजारिश है श्री चौधरी से उन्हें सम्मानित करने की। Please be on stage. There's a question for you. पहले आपसे योगेश जी के हरियाणा का ब्रांड एम्बेसडर होने से बहुत सम्मानित महसूस कर रहे हैं आप, इस समय आपके भाव क्या हैं हमें बताएंगे?
सबसे पहले तो थैंक यू इसके लिए वापस से। और हरियाणा स्पोर्ट्स के लिए आपको पता ही है सबको कि बहुत ज़्यादा माना जाता है, और हमारा दूध दही का खाना और स्पोर्ट्स पर्सन सब ज़्यादा आते हैं। और इंडिया में मैं डिस्कस को प्रमोट करना चाहता हूँ और भी ज़्यादा, डिस्कस थ्रोवर्स को और पैरा एथलीट्स को स्पेशली, क्योंकि एक जो इक्वालिटी है हमारी स्पोर्ट्स पॉलिसी में कैश अवार्ड को लेके चाहे किसी भी चीज़ को लेके, वो बहुत ज़्यादा अच्छी है। और सेकंड टाइम मैं पैरालंपिक्स में जब सिल्वर मेडल जीता था तो इतनी ज़्यादा खुशी नहीं हुई थी जितनी फर्स्ट टाइम हुई थी, क्योंकि थोड़ा सा चूक गया था इस बार भी गोल्ड से। और ज़िंदगी मेरी चांदी पे ही चल रही है फ़िलहाल तो आगे जाके थोड़ी सी और मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी मुझे, और ताकि इसको चांदी से सोना में बदलूँ।
जी जयंत जी, आपसे एक सवाल। ये चार्टर ऑफ रिकमेंडेशंस अभी दी गई हैं और बहुत सारी आपने भी बातें बताई क्या क्या कोशिश है, इन रिकमेंडेशंस में से क्या इम्प्लीमेंट क्या पूरा करना चाहेंगे आप?
Like I said, government policy is very progressive and forward-looking. And we are championing the cause of whether it's our para-athletes or our specially abled in our villages, in our urban communities. They need to be walking with us, stride to stride.
What do you think is one thing that's really needed to make it inclusive, something that you would like to do?
So for me, that's 78% of our school
Yeah.
is accessible right now with ramps.
Right.
We need to increase it to 100% as soon as we can.
Oh.
I think that's a goal that is in our reach. It is possible, and we can do it in a time frame.
Thank you so much.
Right. Yogesh, thank you very much.
Thank
Minister,
you.
just be with us for a moment. Thank you, Yogesh, very much for being with us. Okay, I'd like to invite back on stage Mr. Ansu Kim, Mr. Tarun Garg, Mr. J.T. Park of Hyundai Motor India Limited to present the Minister with a memento. Thank you for coming and sharing your valuable time. It's wonderful that you could be here and share your thoughts. So this memento is for you. Thank you, everyone.
We have all talked about skilling, we have all talked about training, but before that comes education. Now, education is a basic human right and every child should be able to go to school. But as per a 2019 UNESCO report, out of 78.64 lakh children with disability in India, 3/4 of those aged 5 years do not attend any educational institution. 12% of children with disability, they have dropped out of school, and 27% of children with disability, they have never attended any educational institution, and this is alarming. This is why we need inclusive education. It's a government priority, but there is a gap between policy and implementation. To discuss this, I would now like to invite on stage Ambika Singh Kama and our panelists.
Education is not a privilege, and every child should benefit from it. Like all children, children with disabilities have ambitions and dreams for their future. Like all children, they need quality education to develop their skills and realize their full potential. Disability is one of the most serious barriers to education across the globe. It isn't just the lack of infrastructure. It is also the lack of teachers trained to work with disabilities and a sensitized ecosystem that treats children with disabilities as equals and not objects of pity or derision to be left out of every activity. Samarth by Hyundai engaged with more than 50,000 young students to sensitize our youngest citizens from an early age. And what happened in those interactions? To tell us more, today we are joined by Dr. Ruchi Seth, Director Principal, Lotus Valley International School, Noida, Ms. Mari Shanti Priya, Principal, Vista International School, Hyderabad. We also have with us Dr. Uma Tulli, Founder, Amarjyoti Charitable Trust, Padma Shri Awardee, Professor Veera Gupta, former Secretary, CBSE, and we have with us Dr. Bhavna Taragi, Deputy Head of Research, Development and Consultancy Division, CISCE. Thank you all so much for joining us, and it's a pleasure to have you today, on this initiative. To begin with, Dr. Ruchi, I would like to start with you. Tell us about, the initiative, which, what Samarth did. Tell us the impact there, how much of awareness was really brought into the children with the initiative.
So, Ambika, our school is already very sensitive to the needs of all the students, and we have a motto which we like to, oft repeat. It's called every star shines differently. So every student actually, for us, is unique, whether they have an ability, a special ability, or, and there's a lot of sensitization that we've already done in the last few years. So when Samarth came to us, we were delighted. And we had our students of class 6 and 7, because I believe that if you want to make an attitudinal change, you have to do it as early as possible, and when it makes sense to them. So it was quite amazing at the way they responded to the question answers that went on. And I'd like to say that the Honorable Minister for Social Justice, who was here, and he said to Mr. Malhotra, he said, ये याद रखना कि आप बाकी अपने सहपाठियों को भी प्रोत्साहित करते हैं. But this class 6 child, he said, they should remember, and when he said they, it meant the heroes on the stage who had come through Samarth. They should remember that they are not only, their skill and determination is not only helping them achieve their own goals, but they are helping everybody in the world to achieve their goals.
Absolutely.
What a wonderful statement by a class 6 student.
Yes.
That's as far as we've been able to sensitize not just children, not just teachers, but we have a whole school approach. The nannies, the guards, the students, the teachers, the parents, everybody is sensitized in the school.
Which is really, really critical. If I can come to you, Ms. Shanti Priya, tell us about, the Samarth by Hyundai workshop. What impact did you see or have you seen in your school post the workshop?
Actually, we are also an inclusive school. We do have children with different learning disabilities, both physical as well as learning. So when Samarth team was there, in fact, as ma'am said, it's ideal to start with the young age, because the kind of impact what we give them is going to be more memorable and for a longer innings. So we have asked the grade 5 students to be there, to be part of it, to motivate the Paralympic participant who has come to the school. The children were so enthusiastic looking at them, and they made a statement saying that though we are all fit, we all always keep cribbing about everything. But there are people who are deprived of so many things, yet the kind of motive they have, Yeah. The kind of enthusiasm, the zeal they have to achieve in life, that is something which is very, very memorable and touching for them. And they felt that they have to have more students of such kind of disability to be part of the school so that they can help or at least be part of their journey in their life.
I think that's really well put and extremely critical for every child. And like you said, to be sensitized. Dr. Tully, I wanted to, come to you here. You've been doing this really since 1981. You've helped nurture the dreams of so many children. What innovative methods or programs has Amar Jyoti been using in the last 4 decades to enhance education and support children? And most importantly, I think the holistic approach that you use. If you can please take us to that.
Right. We all know that education is the tool to bring any change.
Yeah.
And to bring this kind of change, we need a holistic approach. In Amar Jyoti, we have every facility in the campus, like medical care. Inclusive education, of course, is the prime thing, but to make it implementable, we have skill training, we have capacity building courses in physiotherapy, in teachers training in special education, NIOS, IGNU, and we also have inclusive sports and cultural activities. That is what has made it possible. And the thing really that worked for us is the convergence of resources involving government, community, having CBR, community-based rehabilitation program, reaching out to the philanthropic donors, liaison with our institutions, and this kind of convergence has really made it possible. Looking for volunteers all the time and looking for funds. I'm a professional beggar.
I think collaboration, convergence, like you rightly said, is very critical, and it really brings an impact. Professor Veera, if I could come to you here, you brought up a child with a specific learning disorder. If you could just take us through your journey, how it has helped you in the field of education as well.
Thank you, Ambika. Certainly, when I had my daughter and I recognized that she is dyslexic, and that too early 2000, so that time it was neither in academic documents nor in policy documents that dyslexia was recognized as a disorder or disability. RPWD came in 16 by the time she had already enrolled in medical college. So if you see her KG certificate, school performance record, and today she is a public health professional in Johns Hopkins.
Oh, wow.
So the journey of my child from KG, when SLD is recognized only when the child goes to school. Prior to that, it is a very bright, naughty, intelligent child. Only in the school, the child becomes poor performer. So the entire history I have written in an article that is published also, and it is very educative, motivating, and learning for all the parents, because dyslexia is a hidden condition. Maybe many of us could be dyslexic, but we don't know. But it is the advocacy group and many people who have worked towards this condition and brought it in RPWD Act that today we recognize it as one of the condition. But it took us a lot of time to write a policy how it should be identified and certified. It was as late as 2020 when High Court gave a judgment that how it should be diagnosed and certified. And now these children are getting some reservation and those facilities. So, but it is there, and these children are generally with emotional and all other depression or anxiety problems because their condition is not recognized.
Yes.
And people are not able to give that kind of a support. And this population is maximum in number. So these are 20% in any population out of the disability. But we have identified only 1% as per UDICE data. And in our colleges, even I am a professor in Jamia, there is none enrolled with SLD identified child. So we still have in higher education orthopedic and blind who are coming, but other hidden disabilities are not really reaching higher education.
So I think hidden disabilities is something which is extremely critical, and I'm just going to, repeat the lines what the Honorable Minister said. Every student can learn, just not in the same day or in the same way. So for that, I would like to come to you here, Dr. Bhavna. Could you give us an overview or tell us about how the board is implementing, its comprehensive guidelines to support students with diverse needs, especially when we're looking at concessions? Like Professor Veera also just said, how does it help the students here?
Yeah, thank you, Ambika. So the CISE board, the philosophy of the board is that schools are for all. And the responsibility of making them accessible and giving them engaged learning environments to all children lies with the board. It lies with the affiliated schools. The board supports the children with diverse needs through a comprehensive policy where we are not just offering support measures to children who are having benchmark disabilities. The board has gone ahead and is offering the same concessions and benefits to children who are at the borderline of disabilities also. So I think the borderline intellectual functioning and children who are not meeting the benchmark of 40% yet are lagging behind in their learning trajectories because of certain disabilities or conditions. The board is offering them ample support. Another landmark decision of the board was pertaining to providing support to students who are having sensory processing disorders. We are allowing students we are facilitating them, the students on the autism spectrum, the Asperger's syndrome children, to visit the examination center a day or two prior to be able to familiarize with the environment. We are also facilitating building rapport with the adult prompters, with the readers, the scripters. We are doing that. Also, we are allowing them to wear the earphones, use the assistive devices that they usually have been learning with during their school time. So I think the board is looking at supporting all students. Wonderful results we have observed.
Yes.
We are delighted with the kind of performance shown by our children with special needs in our board examinations. And we hope to continue doing much more. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, because there is a lot, but we're talking about solutions. We know inclusive education is critical, but we also know, Dr. Ruchi, that there are gaps. What can we do, or what more can be done to create greater access here?
So I think it's very important that the leadership team, the management, the principal, the key leaders should desire that they make a change. And this should translate into action. What I see through my experience is that there's a big gap between the rural and the urban. As you go into the interiors of the country, the gap begins to show very rapidly. And it's not just the infrastructure. There are schools where we have insisted, we have, members of the inspection committee, we've gone and we've said, you don't have a ramp or something. We're giving you this much time, so please make the necessary infrastructure. That is easy to convert. But what is difficult is the mindset and the attitude to make resources available, train teachers to cater to the needs, the special needs of people with special needs.
Just taking from what you said, mindsets and attitudes, parents here play a very critical role.
Yes.
I would like to ask you here, Ms. Shanti Priya, how can we make parents understand, or they have, they have a resistance that their children could have a learning disability?
Again, coming to our country, I feel it's still a taboo to know that your child is disabled. So, it's not just the parents, because the way people look at them, that makes the difference. It's the attitude and the approach of the society at large. So when the children danced over here at this platform, I felt that we have given them a hope, a faith. There is a very big community out there which is ready to, willing to accept them, to make them part of their life. So which is very important for us to make parents who have got these children with learning disabilities to feel that we are there to help them, not to make them feel that they have given birth to a child who's going to be dependent on them for the rest of their life, not just on them, also on the society. So that's where we have to, kind of reach out to the parents, maybe programs like Samarth, organizations like NDTV, organizations like Hyundai can come up and organize events and shows at a larger scale, which can talk to parents and sensitize them that it is okay to have a child like that. There is a larger group which can accept them and support them. If something like that can be done, I think that would be great.
Absolutely. Professor Veera, you work closely on policy making. Do our boards have system in place for identification, diagnosis, certification, as well as intervention of students with specific learning disability?
See, specific learning disability is a group of 5 conditions. Dyslexia, reading problems; dysgraphia, writing problems; dyspraxia, balance problem; ADHD, and dyscalculia. So maybe we see that in our education system, there are people who can read, write well, but when it comes to maths, they fear. Or there are some people who can read, but their writing is very, very poor. So since these 5 conditions can vary within a child and also among the children, so identification is very difficult. Prior to RPWD and after Nimhan's battery, it was a school assessment only. What they write, which we call curriculum-based assessment. And we had SNDT University's Smriti Swaroop, who had given one checklist. Today we have very nice checklist which is called Prashast, prepared by NCERT, which is a very good tool in the hands of all the teachers.
In fact, we've spoken about so many things and we're running out of time. I just want to talk about mental health. I think that's a very critical issue. And before I come for the last question to you, Dr. Tulli, Dr. Bhavna, tell us about the mental health issues. We've seen post-COVID, a lot of children are dealing with depression, stress. What initiatives is the board implementing or trying to do to support children so that they can handle their mental well-being or improve their mental well-being at this point?
Yes, Ambika, definitely we've seen a surge in the diagnosis of depression and anxiety amongst children in the schools now. So the board can create policies, but actually what happens and how the children are supported depends on what happens inside the classroom. Inside the classroom, it is the teacher who is the academic leader of the class, and the teacher needs to be empowered to first diagnose that there is a problem, to be able to scan, to be able to screen, and then to be able to give the mental first aid, the psychological first aid that is required. The board has taken very concrete steps, a lot of them regarding teacher training, where we've tied up with Samvad, Nimhan's Bangalore, to train our counselors and teachers to identify what are the first signs of a mental concern, a psychological concern. We've created master trainers through the short-term training program who've gone ahead and done trainings in the schools. Also, we're doing a kind of a monitoring and evaluation where we seek reports from the school as to what are the kind of cases that they are finding and how we can support. Even in the support measures that we have extended, mental illnesses are being covered as per the RPWD Act. And special concessions are granted with adult prompters for children who are having psychological disorders as well. Apart from that, we are also conducting several online webinars to sensitize early detection. Early detection is the key, and then providing them the right kind of support measures. For example, ma'am spoke about the Prashast, the screening checklist. Similarly, there is an early identification checklist built by the MOE, which is on the website of MOE for screening of mental health disorders. And that particular screening checklist, it's a very, very strong tool. We have distributed it amongst the school and we are conducting trainings for them to use that checklist given by the government.
Because it's extremely important to look at the mental well-being of our children, clearly, because they're the future. Last question to you, Dr. Tulli. We've spoken about education, right? But when we look at the workforce, when we look at them when they're going forward, in your experience, what are the most critical skills that persons with disabilities need to thrive in their workplace, and how can organizations better support their development?
Well, as far as skill training is concerned, I think first and foremost thing is to bring in self-esteem and confidence, have accessible environment, have acceptance Now, of course, we are from negation to acceptance, but thinking of persons with disabilities, we should not underestimate their skill. They can do everything and anything on this earth. We try to think of skills which are having the potential of job or self-employment.
Yes.
So we should tie up with the employers, what is their need and how they can train in advance so that employment becomes easier for persons with disability. Most of the time, we forget that Ministry of Social Welfare and Empowerment has already published more than 3,000 jobs for persons with disability and diverse disability,
Yes.
And those jobs can be kept in mind. And many a times we forget that they are persons first. So our attitude is what matters. Our acceptance is what matters. Giving them equal opportunity and full participation is what brings in positive results.
Absolutely. Opportunity, full participation, sensitization. Thank you all so much. We've learned so much from all of you. It's really a pleasure to have you here with us on Summit by Hyundai. Thank you so much.
As we bring down the curtains on year one, I'd like to invite on stage Mr. Tarun Garg, Whole-Time Director and Chief Operating Officer, Hyundai Motor India Limited, for his closing remarks.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us today as we celebrate one-year journey of Samarth by Hyundai, an initiative which is very, very close to my heart. I appreciate all of you for being part of this groundbreaking movement and being a true ambassador of change. Friends, last November, we began our journey to build an inclusive and barrier-free society for people with disabilities. I'm humbled to share that along with our partners in this initiative, we were able to do some groundbreaking work. We have raised awareness, built partnerships, and created various moments of embracing accessibility for people with disabilities. The past year has also been an eye-opener for us. We have witnessed moments that moved us, inspired us, and sometimes left us speechless. I'll never forget watching the Indian blind cricket team play against Sri Lanka. Their skill and performance were no less than any other cricket player in the world. Friends, at Hyundai Motor India Limited, we are driven by our global vision of progress for humanity. Every step we took under Samarth is aimed at creating opportunities and progress for people with disabilities in India. I am proud to share that we have made significant strides in the past 1 year. All Hyundai dealerships are now equipped with accessible entry and exit points, and most have wheelchairs available. Beyond physical infrastructure, we have also made our website more accessible through our partnership with Evinced. We launched 4 unique Hyundai Mobis accessories to make our cars more accessible to passengers with disabilities. These accessories are now available at all Hyundai dealerships on order. Our partnerships with Go Sports Foundation, Samarthanam Trust for the Disabled, and Wheeling Happiness have yielded fantastic results. From blind cricket to para-athletes and winning laurels at the Para-Olympics, we are thrilled with the achievements. We all know that our blind cricket team won the series 5-0 against Sri Lanka. We have also been inspired by individuals as well as organizations like Enable India, Nipman Foundation, and NCPDP. Their work in assistive technology and policy is making a world of difference. Today, I'm pleased to see the white paper on accessibility challenges being presented to the honorable ministers. I'm thankful for their commitment, and I sincerely hope it paves the way for a more inclusive India. But friends, this is just the beginning for us. The road for creating an inclusive society is long, and Hyundai Motor India Limited will continue supporting this cause. In the coming year, we will focus on two key pillars: technology and infrastructure. Technology is in our DNA, and we believe it will empower people with disabilities. We will support assistive technologies through various partnerships. In association with Samarthanam Trust, we will distribute 228 assistive devices to further enhance accessibility for individuals in need. We will continue to support blind cricket in India. As part of our 3-year commitment, we shall be training 50 blind cricketers from the grassroots level in the coming year. Additionally, we shall host an international blind cricket series, creating a platform for these incredible athletes to showcase their talent. Furthermore, we shall continue providing holistic support to the 20 para-athletes we have onboarded in partnership with the Go Sports Foundation. Our goal is to help them improve their performance in both national and international competitions. I'm confident that these sustained efforts will not only uplift our athletes, but also bring more glory to our country. We firmly believe that it's the environment that disables people, and infrastructure is key to transforming it into an enabler. That's why we shall be working with NGOs, government, and media partners to raise awareness and build a more accessible India. In this long journey, what we need most is your support. Support to make India accessible, inclusive, and truly samarth. Thank you all for joining today. Thank you very much.
All right, with that, we come to an end of today's event, marking the close of year 1 of Samarth by Hyundai. No doubt the initiative will build on this foundation to come back even stronger in the second year. The conversation has begun. Let's all make Samarth by Hyundai a people's movement. Thank you all for joining us.
तू सोच 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 तू सोच
तू सोच ले अब तो उड़ना है, तू सोच पहाड़ से भिड़ना है।
तू सोच ले अब तो उड़ना है, तू सोच पहाड़ से भिड़ना है। तू सोच के अंबर नापेंगे, तू सोच के गिर के उठना है। तू जैसा जैसा सोचेगा हम वैसा मंजर कर देंगे। मंजिल तेरी साथ हमारा